Athletic Center's Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I am John Scooters, getting you set for the second half of a weekend home doubleheader for your UMass Boston Beacons men's hockey team. Matt, last night, biggest game of the season so far, perhaps the biggest regular season game in a long time. They came through with flying colors, taking down the 8th-ranked Norwich Cadets 4-2 the final. Bailey McBurney was outstanding. His supporting cast around him, even better, and the Beacons winning that one against the 8th-ranked team. Now here they come today, taking on a Castleton team that's winless so far this year, 0-2-2 overall, winless in the NEHC, coming off a loss to Babson a day ago. How do you avoid a letdown game less than 24 hours later?
The task is going to be tall, and I think you look at what this team had to put forward with Norwich last night, and it was a full-fledged effort. I mean, the score was 4-2, but if you were watching the hockey game or you happened to tune in for a little while, you'd note that Norwich really dominated, I think, especially in times of possession. That second period in particular, I think, was all Norwich, and so it was a taxing game. You look across the pond, and you've got a Castleton team that really battled hard against a Babson team last night. They did lose, and as you mentioned, they are winless. A team that keeps it close, and I think if the Beacons don't come out, if there's a little bit of an emotional lapse from last night, such high emotion in a game like that, could easily see Castleton taking an early lead in this one.
Meanwhile, the defensive core without Gabe Chukrin again, but the rest of the players stepped up with him in absence. Nick Albano was outstanding with a goal last night, again continuing his offensive onslaught of the NEHC. Meanwhile, freshman Pat Harrington stepped in with flying colors. Didn't get a goal, but he prevented at least one goal defensively, was outstanding lining with Albano. You have to like what you've seen from him and the rest of the freshmen. And with Evan Roviak stepping in, the native of Michigan, into the starting lineup today, we're going to see another fresh young face for Peter Belisle.
The confidence in the freshman is something I haven't seen in recent years with Coach Belisle. I think the biggest key, as you mentioned, Pat Harrington, as well as some of the other freshman forwards, is the awareness in the defensive zone. You mentioned it. Pat Harrington, protecting the puck, always makes safe decisions, never really those high-risk plays. And I think that's something that he's being rewarded with extra minutes tonight. But the same can be said for the forwards. Stevie Bryant, Jeff Skinner, two guys that have really stepped into these roles, and then obviously Chris Peters. They're safe with the puck. They make the right plays. They protect it. And I think that's why they're seeing the minutes they're seeing so far this year. Absolutely.
Meanwhile, Bailey McBurney had a banner day last night, beating Norwich. He struggled over the course of his time here against the Cadets. Of course, none more than in the postseason in the semifinals of the NEHC tournament last year when he was pulled from the game after giving up 5 goals. Last night he was outstanding, got really cocky there at the end, a little flare as he flung the puck up in the air, raised his stick to the crowd. But he also faced some injuries last night. Yeah. He got decked out a little bit, got banged up in the crease, and yet he's back out there tonight. Do you like the decision to start McBurney today, or do you think maybe you're pressing your luck here a little early?
It's a tough call. I can see it both sides. I think on one hand, you've got fully capable backup tenders in Egbert and Durso, and so I really did think that Coach Belisle probably last night after you watched the tape, I think he probably thought a little bit about giving one of those guys a look. That being said, I think you've got to go with the hot hand, and clearly if McBurney is good to go today, you put him back in net. What he was able to do last night, he was the difference between a win and a loss. He was coming away with some saves that he had no business making. He looked calm all night. Being that we did see a little bit of an injury on a crossing pass last night on the goal that was scored, I thought there would be some thought to perhaps giving him the night off. But I think based on probably, I would guess Coach Belisle having a conversation with the goaltender, seemed like he was good to go. He's going to throw him back in there tonight, and we expect big things.
We certainly do. It's been a big weekend for Beaconville Athletics, looking to continue what has been a sweep so far for the athletics team here at UMass Boston. The women's basketball team winning by 11 against the Coast Guard Academy earlier today, and of course the men's and women's hockey teams winning last night at home against their respective opponents in NEC and Norwich. It's going to be an outstanding game as the Beacons look to improve on their 4-0 record. Right now, let's take a look at highlights of last night's victory over Norwich, a 4-2 final, right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. So UMass Boston getting a big victory yesterday against the Norwich Cadets. They'll look to continue what has been a solid start to their campaign. Let's take a look at the on-the-year statistics for both of these clubs. As you take a look, UMass Boston averaging almost 6 goals per game compared to just 2.25 for Castleton. The Beacons' defense has been outstanding. 10 shots more over the Spartans of Castleton for the Beacons at 34-24. And on the special teams has been outstanding. The Beacons' penalty kill forced Norwich into an 0 for 10 day yesterday, 96% on the campaign, 28% on the power play compared to 20.8 and 85 for Castleton. Individual statistics for both of these clubs on your screen now. Beacons led in goals by Nolan Redler. Meanwhile, Asa Parker leads the way for Castleton. Our player to watch today, and for good reason, Nick. He has been outstanding again in his sophomore campaign. Already 6 points in 4 games, 2 goals. He had one last night to make it 4-1. The Beacons go on to win 4-2. We look for more today as he continues to line with the freshman Pat Harrington, with Gabe Chuckrin out for the short-term future. Our starters today, we begin with the UMass Boston Beacons. Redler and Bross centered by Peters. That has been the line that Coach Belial's relied on as his top scoring line all season. And Pat Harrington, as I mentioned, shifting into the top defensive line with Nick Albano in front of Bailey McBurney. And for Castleton, this is going to be an interesting game for them, coming off a tough one against Babson. Asa Palker, Anton Tarvinen, and Alex Manula will start at forward. On defense, Andrew Barber and Troy Taylor. And Wyatt Pickrell brings his 0-2-2 record in between the pipes. We're going to step aside for a moment for the national anthem. When we come back, we will have the opening face-off between the Castleton Spartans and your UMass Boston Beacons right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Just about set for the opening face-off. Bailey McBurney back between the pipes for UMass Boston tonight. He'll be facing off against Wyatt Pickrell, as Pickrell, a senior, standing 6'2", 215 out of Newmarket, Ontario, former Orangeville Flyer, the OJHL. He's 3-9-3 in his career, but his numbers this year have been strong. He's got an 0-2-2 record, but a save percentage of .917 and a 2.92 GAA. Last night, he was able to hold the Babson College Beavers to just 2 goals and a 2-1 loss. This is a team in Castleton, Matt, that has 2 losses and 2 ties. A pair of ties, 1-4-4 against Skidmore, 1-2-2 against Wentworth, who the Beacons demolished on the road 9-0, and then 4-2 loss to Hobart and a 2-1 loss to Babson. So on paper, this is a team the Beacons should handle.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no question, and you would hate to have such a strong win against a nationally ranked Norwich team last night and then give those points right back against a Castleton team that you should definitely beat. But you notice that the theme there with those scores, John, are relatively close games in all of them. So this is a team that's going to stick around tonight, I think, especially being that, UMass Boston, a little bit of a different lineup and, dealing with some injuries. I do expect Castleton to come out strong here. I think the Beacons are going to need these first 5 to weather the storm. That's my kind of prediction for the game. It's going to look a little bit tilted towards Castleton to start, as you see a little bit of rough stuff right out of the gate on Bross there.
No doubt. Zach Bross, a physical player, being treated like one early as almost friendly fire as that one deflected off Andrew Barber, the freshman from Queensbury, New York, right in on Pickrell, and he had to be alert there.
I don't think, in terms of predictions, I don't think the first shot on goal would have counted that like that off the defenseman's skate right on goal. And, fortunately for you, like you said, Pickrell with I guess you give credit for a save there, right?
Whether literal or figuratively, it was an alert play by Pickrell, number 59 in green. The Spartans in their all-green roads. They're moving from right to left. The Beacons in their white homes, moving from left to right. No icing as Harrington's the first man back for it. Dishes it off to Albano, and Albano will slow things up as he motors forward over the blue line, connecting far side with Redler. Redler almost turned it over, but it made its way through the wickets. And number 23, Asa Palker, a native of Bedford, New Hampshire, as Bross backhands it back to the point. Albano. Beacons got off to a good start yesterday, trying for a similar play when Johnny Regnar fired it through the trees in front. A deflection off of Daniel Nackbauer's stick got the Beacons on a power play goal early in the first minute and a half against Norwich. The Beacons never looked back.
Something interesting there, John. They sent 2 forwards out on Albano. I think word is out that his offensive is we got a scoring opportunity here.
And Bross scores! Zach Bross delivers again, just 60 seconds in here in the first period of play for number 9 in white. It is his second goal this season, his 10th career goal, and UMass Boston has delivered again. It's 1-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Well, 2 things I like there, John. I apologize. I was going over something I saw with Albano. Next thing you know, we've got a scoring opportunity, but first things first, that pass was right on the tape. He put that right in the wheelhouse, right where Bross needed it, and then I give credit to Bross there on the quick release. I mean, mind you, he put it under the bar as well. That's just icing on the cake, but I think the key to the goal there was the pass was right in the shooting lane for Bross. He was able to corral it and fire that under the bar right away for a 1-0 lead.
Deja vu. Yesterday, the Beacons scored in the first 2 minutes. They do it again as Zach Bross gets his 3rd goal this season, as he now has a exceptional 6 points, putting him tied for second on the team with Chris Peters. From the point, a blast right into the glove of the netminder Pickrell, coming from the stick of Brian Carter.
And you could see the reaction from the goaltender. You knew I had no chance. I mean, that pass comes from the wall to the slot, and it's on net before I think he was even in position to make a save. That would have taken an outstanding effort to try and stop that one. A great shot by Bross. But the pass to enable that shot was really a key component to that goal as well.
Excellent passing here over the weekend for the Beacons. This second line out, Santapass, Knockbauer, and Skinner. Been exceptional in point production as Knockbauer scored yesterday, tries to do it again as he takes the wraparound chance from the near side post. Denied by Pickrell, who's had to be heavily on alert here early on in this one.
The second line has looked good for the Beacons, and as we mentioned, a little bit of a lineup change. We're going to see a different third line. This is a line they've trying to get going here, John. You're going to see them. This is their first shift here today. But Coach Blyle and Coach Schneider are talking about, we're trying to get the third line going. Riley's going to take a game off. He's going to sit today. They're going to put Rakowiak in the lineup in his place, and then the extra forward is Caruso. I expect him to see some minutes on this line as well.
Interesting that Riley, who's been so strong in his freshman year, especially on the penalty kill where the Beacons were exceptional last night out of the lineup, maybe just getting a chance to see what Roviak can do as this one is sent into the corner. There is Evan Roviak, the native of Livonia, Michigan, fighting for it, along with number 14, that being Jason Bilski, the freshman from Pittsburgh, as that's right in front, they score! UMass Boston, a 2-0 lead as Stevie Bryant tallies for the Beacons. For Stevie, his first career goal for the freshman from Edmonds, Washington. It's 2-0 Beacons on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Well, that's a way to make a statement for both the freshmen. Rakowiak on the wall and was looking for a passing option. I love how he took the extra second. I think he thought about shooting that puck, but he did see Bryant in the slot. He was able to put that again right on the tape, the key to passing. John, I'll tell you, both these goals, passing plays, looks like Castleton is going to take a timeout.
Good idea.
I would agree. I don't think we'll get a goaltending change just yet, but there is definitely a warning of that. But again, this play, we'll have to bring you the replay if we can. What a pass. Rakowiak puts it right on the tape for Bryant, who's able to tuck that home for his first collegiate goal. And we've seen some fast starts for these Beacons here. Yesterday against Norwich, a quick 3-0 lead, and then again tonight, starting early now, already 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. And the Beacons, Bailey McBurney, we were talking about, should he be playing after that great performance yesterday, got banged up. He's just chilling in his crease during this timeout. He doesn't care. He's just enjoying his time out here. He hasn't seen even anything close to a shot.
No, he'll take that. I think after the way he played last night, the amount of rubber he faced, and I think he wouldn't mind having a little bit of a less eventful night tonight.
Yeah, less stress nonetheless as the second line comes out. That's Nick Ravina, Caleb Pfizer, the captain, and Glenn Wiswell for the Spartans. Beacons counter with that fourth line, which is Dakota Keene, Dave McGregor, and Justin Holiday. This one sent back out to the point looking for Gallagher, who was our player of the game yesterday. He had a goal and a couple of big hits. Did Garrett. As this one stopped out the Beacons blue line by McGregor, dumps it back to Garrett Gallagher. Gallagher tries to drop it back for Bono. Bono had stepped out of position, and the two D men picking each other up there as Gallagher just dumps it deep. This shouldn't be icing, and it's not, as it's picked up right in front of the end line there by Fitzgerald, an assistant captain and a senior from O'Fallon, Missouri. Holiday dumps it back now to Bono. Bono and Holiday play pitch and catch at the red line as Justin is over the blue line, fires it right into the breadbasket as it's covered by Wyatt Pickrell for a stoppage with 17:05 to go here in period number 1. And Matt,
go ahead.
When you take a look at this start for the Beacons, very similar to what we saw yesterday against Norwich, and fast starts, not only critical to get on the scoreboard, but critical against a team in Castleton who just went toe-to-toe for 60 minutes with Babson yesterday, which is a physical team just like the Beacons. They've got to be feeling it just as much as the Beacons do, having gone against Norwich.
Without question, and I'll take the blame here. I predicted more of a Castleton fast start. I was totally wrong. It was completely the Beacons. So far here, I mean, we're not even 5 minutes in just yet, and already a 2-0 lead.
Motoring in and taking the shot there, the native of Helsinki, Finland, Alex Manula. 2 Finns on this first line, along with Anton Tervainen, a native of Sipu, Finland. As that one is on the far side from Manula. He fires it whistling through the net mouth and wide as it's cleared out of harm's way into neutral ice by Peters. Back to Manula on the far side, over the blue line, tries to center it, connecting there nearly with Asa Palker, the only non-Finn on the top line, a freshman from New Hampshire. Here comes Zach Bross looking for his second of the day. Instead, he peels it back to Albano, who takes a shot from a difficult angle. That one also made its way through. Pickrell had no idea where the puck was, went down into the splits. Luckily for him, Beacons didn't have a shooting lane or a passing lane from behind the net, as that's Albano getting his pocket picked, motoring forward with it, and then losing possession as the defenseman, Mark Schroyer. And then back at neutral ice, Glenn Wiswell will hand it back to the blue liner. Reynolds and Jawara will dump it all the way in. 15:47 to go. First period action, already 2-0 Beacons here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, trying to improve to a sparkling 5-0 start in the overall record, and an even more impressive 4-0 start in the NEHC, as we will get a stoppage of play with 15:35 to go.
It's going to be a penalty on Castleton, John. And it looked like as that play was entering the zone, there was a little bit of a hook that took place. And, to be honest, I didn't see much there. It looked kind of just like a simple hockey play, but nevertheless, I think Skinner was the one who drew it. He's going to get some power play time. It looks like they're starting that second unit here, are the Beacons, with Skinner, Knockbauer, and Sifferlen, and a huge opportunity to increase their lead.
Caleb Pfizer, the guilty party, 2 minutes for hooking, and the senior from Sarasota, Florida, who played in the EHL for, get this, Matt, the team name, the New York Apple Corps.
Yeah, well, hey, the Apple Corps, they were in the Eastern Junior Hockey League where I played, and boy, they're probably the most memorable. Literally, their logo is a chewed apple core.
That's one of the weirder ones that I've ever heard. And right up there with the banana slugs, as that is down low, a chance on the power play. Beacons for the first time with the extra attacker. Sifferlen, a one-time feed from behind the net. Unable to get it past the netminder Pickrell. Beacons, though, keep it in the zone. Sifferlen, nice saucer pass near side for Knockbauer. Nandel couldn't settle it down, and a good play to dump it all the way down by Wiswell.
It's a great play. The forwards moving the puck, and a quick up by McBurney like this. They just caught Castleton on a change here.
Far side for Redler. Nolan out there with Albano, and Carter on the blue line. Albano saucers it to Carter near side. Redler and Sifferlen, as well as Skinner, the forwards here on the power play. Still 51 seconds remaining on as Albano takes a shot. Ooh, that got Sifferlen right in the lower body. He's going to be feeling that a bit as he will skate gingerly to the bench.
But again, the passing on this power play, you're seeing it here, folks, is quick movement with the puck. And you saw it low to high, high to low. And you continue to keep these Spartans chasing in their own zone as they've had a couple outs here. Still 30 seconds on this power play, but I think the coaching staff has to be pleased with the puck movement so far.
Dumped all the way in by Albano. Sanapass lets it trickle back towards Bross. Zach gets taken into the boards by Manula. And back to the point now, Peters, far side for Bross. Zach hesitates into the slot, down low looking for Redler. Couldn't connect with him. Referee bit in the way there as Nolan backhands it along the end board. Just 5 seconds to go on the power play. Peters back to Redler behind the net. Beacons, with the power play expired, looking to continue their momentum after it just elapsed, trying to feed Sanapass in front with Redler. Instead, it's back to Peters, down to Redler on the near side. One-time blast on a bouncing puck. Ross somehow gets a lot of it and it's gobbled up by Pickrell.
That's a nice little play there. You just kind of lull the defense to sleep. You allow to kind of reset as the penalty expires. You got to account for that extra forward out of the box, and once that defense resets with the 5 instead of 4 skaters there, it opened up a slot for Bross, and a nice pass from Redler, and a good save from Pickrell.
Off the face-off win, a shot by John Bono from the point, whistles wide on the far side post. Beacons have that fourth line back out there, Keene, Holiday, and McGregor. And the Beacons turn it over, forcing one at the red line. McGregor all the way in, nice handles there. Back to the point for a blast from Bono. Deja vu as he missed far side post again. Another chance, Gallagher trickles through, and they score! Might have been deflected in front. It was Keene who was in the area, but the shot came from Gallagher, and for the second straight day, Garrett Gallagher's blast from the point leads to a goal. It's 3-0 UMass Boston.
Yeah, just again, this is very reminiscent. It's weird. It's weird how close today's start has mirrored yesterday's start. I mean, that goal is very similar to the one we saw yesterday from Gallagher. Just a shot through, a little bit of a changeup. I don't think it had nearly everything on it that the defense would have liked, that Gallagher would have liked, and yet still finds its way home. And it's tucked into the back of the net for a 3-0 lead. Beacons up big here on Saturday.
Yeah, and Matt, that goal by Gallagher yesterday made it 3-0 just around the same time in the first as that one is fired, and a great glove save by Pickrell as he robs Chris Peters from point-blank range.
Well, that probably saved his day there. That definitely saved his day. You saw the shot in the slot there, and I think Pickrell knew he had to make a stop in order to keep his day alive. Boy, that's a great save. We'll have to wait on the announcement. Still trying to decide if that puck went all the way in, I think, from the blue line from Gallagher, if that was touched.
And then there's a big hit by Garrett, just like yesterday, but he took himself out of position, set up a chance the other way, and the shot by Jacob Irwin denied by McBurney, his first save of the day.
And he, that's the other thing, too, is looks like another opportunity here. Great block there from Gallagher. Castleton with a little bit of pressure.
Garrett continuing to play well in Gabe Chukrin's absence as he has assumed one of those primary defenseman roles and has turned it into offense as he delivering another goal for the second straight night, made it 3-0. Now the Beacons catching them on a bit of a change here. Here's Peters with a chance. Nice feed looking for Bono, but John wasn't ready for it.
Yeah, I would have liked to seen him shoot that puck there. He's in the high slot. That's a grade A opportunity. I know he's looking for that backdoor play, but I'd love to see a shot on goal.
Now on the backdoor, run a feed in front, they score! A one-time feed for Saki Tiitonen, and the native of Kemi, Finland, has put the Spartans on the board. It's 3-1.
Yeah, just a nice play in transition from the Castleton Spartans there. Puck comes all the way in on a 3-on-2 really, and then no one picks up the trailer. It's just a pretty simple play. Anytime in an odd man rush, you're looking for those trailers there, and you saw Tiitonen going hard to the net. Really simple. Once that puck comes across, you catch it, release it. And Castleton on the board here with their first of the day, making it 3-1.
That's the fourth line for this team, and that's the first career goal and point for the sophomore out of Finland, who played for Kemin Lamarit of the second league Divisiona in Finland. This is a Spartans team that really has gotten players to come over from the Nordic area. 3 Finns in their starting 12 at forward. Those are the only non-American or non-North Americans, I should say. They do have a couple of Canadians as well. So from neutral ice, Beacons and the Spartans face off, won by the Beacons as Knockbauer got a little help from the freshman Skinner out there along with Sanapass. Beacons had a 3-zip lead. It's now 3-1 on the goal from Tiitonen. The assist from Dom Kuziak. The secondary from Vad Sverdlov. In the Beacons' own zone, forcing the turnover is Knockbauer, and he will motor forward, connecting with Skinner near side. Jeffrey, nice moves to get around the defense of Reynolds. Into the corner it comes. It's poked away from Daniel. And now all the way to the far side. It'll be picked up by Pfizer, and the captain will siphon it out to neutral ice to be taken in by Carter.
Interesting point in the game here, John, as Castleton responds, finally gets on the board. It's still plenty of hockey left, still only 10 minutes, still 10 minutes to go here in the first period, and I know Beacons with an early lead, but this next goal could be critical. Here comes Castleton.
Yeah, as you said, numbers for the Spartans, but offsides is the call as Gravina got just a bit out in front of Wiswell, and that's a break for UMass Boston. Would have been a 2-on-1.
Well, it's pretty clear that Castleton looking to capitalize on the transition plays here, coming in with pretty good speed. I mean, their movement through the neutral zone is pretty crisp. And they've caught the Beacons now a couple times, guys out of position. That right there, that was an offsides, but not by much. That was almost another scoring opportunity, and I think that obviously is going to have to be addressed by this Beacons team. That's the second or third time now where on the rush they've been caught, and that has to be a cause for concern for this coaching staff.
Both teams' third lines are out. Sifferlen, Bryant, and Roviak for the Beaks, and Bilski, Ryder, and Irwin for the Spartans as the Beacons get it into the far side corner in the attacking zone. Siphoned around the end boards. Cutting off Sifferlen to get there was Bilski. The freshman, though, turns it over. Roviak. One freshman takes it away from another. And the native of Livonia, Michigan gets it back to Albano. Deflected into the air. Play him down by the glove of Sifferlen. Far side, Harrington. Pat takes the shot right into the left leg of the netminder. Pickrell made an alert save. Another try on a spinorama there from the Beacon centerman. Bryant looking for his second goal of the day. That was wide.
Rebound was right there in the slot. That is not where Pickrell wanted it. He's fortunate that didn't come back to haunt him.
Albano in the near side dot. Deflected by Jawara Reynolds, who's got one of the more interesting heads of lettuce at the D3 level. We noticed during the national anthem.
Give me a penalty here, John.
All the way in, and we'll get a stoppage. And Matt, as you said, looks like the Beacons are going to go to the power play for the first time.
Yeah, just a little hook here, and we'll see who goes.
Looks like it's going to go back to the Spartans, as Albano will build a guilty party.
Yeah, he's going to go on the hook. Again, I don't think it was anything too obvious, but something that happened, I think, right in front of the referees, and they decided that enough was warranted for a penalty. So Albano will sit for two, and a key opportunity here for the Spartans to make this a one-goal hockey game.
As you said, face off, one back towards the crease. A chance for a tough angle from Asa Parker. The native of New Hampshire can't hit it. Now the Beacons shorthanded streak the other way. With a head of steam in front of him, a backhander by McGregor. That one kicked away by Pickrell. Another chance in front, trying to set it up for him was Keene, and that one off the glove of Parker from the shot there of McGregor, and he just got enough to kick it wide.
A shorthanded opportunity there for the Beacons, and they are having success in front of the net, John. But here again, the transition for the Spartans already in the zone.
Manula hands it off to Tarvinen. Tarvinen back to the point. Reynolds back to Anton. And he hands it off to Parker. Parker tried to go back down low using the end boards. Missed on the pass for Tarvinen. That'll allow a chance for the Beacons to clear, but they cannot. Alert stick there by Tarvinen. Back to the point now, waiting, teeing it up. Blocked down in front from the shot of Barber. Another try from a tough angle, but a great defensive effort as diving in front of the shot, John Bono.
He needed it. He caused this turnover. Beacon's still not out of pressure yet.
Schroyer far side. Back to Mark Schroyer. One-time blast, and that one hit the crossbar and whistles out of play as the Beacons under pressure with 59 seconds to go on the power play.
Yeah, Bono's got to know better. I mean, you just can't. You taught this at a peewee level, if you're especially on the kill, but really under any circumstances. If you're going to clear it up the middle, you have to be sure. You cannot put yourself in a position where that puck can get blocked, and sure enough, it does. Now, he does come back and block a shot there, but I'm sure Coach Schneider is going to want to talk to him about his decision to fire that thing up the middle. If you're going that way, you've got to be sure. A shot there, save no rebound, but that is a cardinal sin on the penalty kill to try and clear that puck through the center, and boy, oh boy, he's fortunate that didn't end up in the back of the net as it ended up off the crossbar.
Absolutely. Goaltender's best friend sometimes, those posts.
You'll take that. As a goaltender, if you hear pipe and you don't hear any sound after that, it's usually a bad thing. Usually it's pipe plus glass or pipe plus something. But usually pipe plus nothing is usually pretty bad.
Right there was friendly fire as Bilski took down his teammate Wiswell. Still 35 on the power play. One-time shot. That one deflected off the initial blast from Troy Taylor, a native of Mississauga, Ontario. Carter fighting for it with Pfizer, and eventually it's going to be Ragnar who dumps it all the way down with 24 to go on the power play.
Love a defenseman that takes that extra couple strides to make sure that puck can get deep. Is a hit there from Bross.
Yeah, and Bross took down one of the defenders for the Spartans, and slow to get off and limping over is Troy Taylor.
Yeah, he took a big
on the
one.
Bench.
And he's immediately off the bench going to see the training staff. He got hit hard from Bross, who, like we talk about, has a very physical presence to his game.
It's a team that has some size on it in the Spartans. Jason Bilski, 6'3", 220 as a freshman. One of their centers out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He lines with the winger Connor Ryder, who is 6'6", 215 pounds. And we're going to get a whistle and another call here, as I think
it's going to be on Castleton.
Yep, Beacons will head to the power play for the first time.
And the captain, I think, is going to be the guilty party here. We'll see. But I believe it's going to be a cross-check Is it Tietinen that goes? I'm trying to see here. No, it's Pfizer. It is the captain. So Pfizer's going to go on the cross-check. Pretty simple call there. Keene in the corner battling for the puck. Ate a cross-check towards the lower back and draws a penalty there. Beacon's going back onto the power play with 7:21 left here in the first period.
We saw David Robertson, the captain for Norwich yesterday, get a penalty at the end of the second period when he rifled the puck in on Bailey McBurney's net after the Hornets sound. And now today the captain, Caleb Pfizer out of Sarasota, Florida, gets the call, and the Beacons head to the power play for the second time today. Albano out of the penalty box with the Beacons on the power play. Minute 40 to go on it as he'll peel back on the near side boards. Backhands it to the far side. Bross, one-touch pass near side. Peters, he's got the shooting lane. He takes it. And I don't know if the goalie Pickrell got a leg on it. Think he did to kick it wide.
Went off something. I think Bross looking for a tripping call there as well, John. He got hauled down pretty good. But a great pass, a great feed there from top. Finding Peters, he had all day. And I think we'll give Pickrell credit for a save there, keeping his team in this hockey game.
70 seconds to go on the Beaks power play, as they will look to capitalize and re-extend it to a 3-goal lead. Much like yesterday against Norwich, Beacons had a 3-zip lead in the first. However, it was cut down to 3-1 moments later on this goal by Saki Tietinen. Back to the point. Peters rifled it into the net mouth looking for Bross, but it was poked out smartly on an alert play by Dan Fitzgerald, the senior from Missouri. And with just 6:05 to go in the period, Beacons move back over the red line. Here's Albano. Nick knows what to do with it. He takes the shot off the leg of one of the defenders and into the corner. Peters tried to keep it in on the near side glass, but it is rifled all the way down as Knockbauer will chase it down with 30 seconds left on the power play.
Castleton going with a very aggressive penalty kill here. We've seen teams try this against the Beacons, and you really have to be sure they are attacking the puck carrier. As soon as they touch it, they're sending at least one. And it's working thus far, but if the Beacons adjust and start moving these pucks a little bit faster, they can catch Castleton out of play, as we're going to get, I believe, another penalty here.
Yeah, Johnny Regnart held on to the player. He knows he's the guilty man, and he had to do it, or else it would have been a 2-on-1 the other way shorthanded. And again, the Beacons blue liners getting a little too aggressive, almost set up another odd man rush where the Spartans had scored their first goal. But this time, John has to take the penalty to avoid it.
And it's attributed to how fast Castleton can transition. You saw the speed there, and as you said, if Regnart doesn't take that penalty, it's likely a scoring opportunity down the other way. So skate forward side here for 12 seconds before Castleton will have their, I believe, third power play of the day, John?
Absolutely. Bill Salengo, the head coach for Castleton in his second season. So he's looking to get his first victory of the year today. But right now, in an auspicious start, they'll go to the power play in 2 seconds. Right now, it's 4-on-4. Out of the sin bin comes Pfizer right onto the ice. And now, coming up a power play, and a big play from Harrington to poke it away and avoid a rush. And then coming in late and leveling a hit there was Caruso. And that'll avoid any chance for the Spartans to catch the Beacons off guard.
Yeah, Caruso with his first shift of the day, and really of the season, he's been dealing with a lack of playing time, we'll say, and great to see him get an opportunity as he chases this puck down.
Derek played in 18 games a year ago, had 4 points in his sophomore campaign, native of Port Washington, New York. As this one's going to be rifled off the boards by Schroyer all the way around, settled down by McBurney. And then that one's sent into the netting off of Beacon, I think. And so, yes, the faceoff will stay in the Beacon zone with 1:09 to go on the power play.
Both teams allowed to change here, and still plenty of time here for Castleton. Haven't generated much on this simplified power play, as they did. It's not a full 2 minutes, but still a minute to go here. That's a big face-off win.
Parker wins it. D-to-D feed. One-time blast from Mark Schroyer. Deflected off a teammate and eventually dumped all the way down by UMass Boston's Dakota Keene. And so the Beacons eating some clock off of that 2-minute minor to John Regnart. 52 seconds to go on it. Here come the Spartans marching into the attacking zone. Dumped in by Anton Tervainen. As the Beacons take hold of it, dump it all the way down. That was Gallagher. And more time eaten off the power play. Joara Reynolds, the Ottawa, Ontario native, near side. Connecting and up over the blue line comes Manula from Helsinki. Oh, that one hit an awkward bounce and kicks right to Keene. A chance for a 2-on-1 with McGregor. They called him offsides. That one was close. And the Beacons don't get the benefit of the doubt on a shorthanded 2-on-1.
And that's just, lack of communication there. I mean, and Keene and McGregor have to go back to the bench. As frustrating as that is on an odd man rush, you've got to figure out, okay, next time you either got to send me that puck sooner or you've got to match my speed, or McGregor has to peel back and understand, okay, I'm not getting it. I got to keep us on side. It's just a lack of communication. That's a simple play and a missed scoring opportunity because you're not clear on what the other player's doing.
Albano and Harrington, the blue liners here on the penalty kill. Holiday and Sifferlen, the forwards. That one hit Sifferlen's stick, shot up in the air like a mortar. Just 2 seconds to go on the power play, so the Beacons kill it off and trying to turn it into offense as Sifferlen has to face 3 of the Spartans defenders, and he got taken off the puck pretty easily. Oh, almost a hook there, as it was Holiday getting a piece from number 17, Andrew Barbers. It's dumped all the way to the corner. From the near side wall, Holiday spun around like a top. That one fired in by Chris Butrid. And the Beacons see McBurney make the save, tried to turn it into a rush the other way. Instead, it's intercepted at neutral ice. Back in the zone, a chance right in front as that one got under the stick of Val Surdlov on a feed there from Ryder and covered up by McBurney.
And you saw Chris Butchrin out of New Jersey. Actually played with my little brother growing up for the New Jersey Colonials. Good to see him. Big boy, 6'2", 195. Good size to him. Always had that size, and good to see him play at the collegiate level now.
It's a small world, isn't it?
The hockey world continues to get smaller and smaller, John.
Even as it expands all throughout the globe, we see faces both familiar and foreign taking hold here at the D3 level. 2:43 to go here in the first as Regnart served 2 minutes moments ago. Back out onto the ice. Gets sandwiched between 2 Spartans. Good feed in front. Looking to connect there with Irwin, but just through the wickets. And that would have been a golden scoring chance for the Spartans.
It's really been pretty much all Castleton here for the latter part of this first period, John. We really haven't seen much offense. A couple penalties here as a save from distance there by McBurney. We've seen, a couple, scoring opportunities, a couple power plays for the Beacons. But other than that, it really has been all Spartans. And since that goal, it's amazing how the ice has shifted a little bit. Is pretty clear that the team in green has really dominated the possession. There's been a lot of offensive faceoffs for them. They've had some shots on goal and looking to get this thing even closer.
Very similar to the Norwich game yesterday where the Beacons took a 3-1 lead or 3-0 lead 10 minutes into the game, and then Norwich dominated for the next 35 to 40. Beacons eventually did stabilize a little bit with the Albano goal, but you can't play on your heels for 45 minutes of a 60-minute game no matter how big a lead you have early. The Beacons know they're going to have to a little more pep in their step.
Without a doubt.
In the corner, in his own zone, settling it down Schroyer. Backhanded, try to go D to Reynolds. Instead, it went all the way through, coming near side. Cleaned up by Gravina, sends it back towards Reynolds. Jawara fighting for it, now joined by Pfizer. Beacons had Nackbauer poke it out. A quick shot from the near side dot from Sanipass, denied by the netminder Pickrell. Little activity after with Nackbauer getting into it with one of the defenders, that's Reynolds.
Yeah, and I don't mind that play from Sanipass there. Just kind of turnaround fire that didn't have much. Worked hard in the corner to get possession of the puck. Didn't have much of an option. End of a shift. Fired on net. Let your next line come out. And I'm surprised here. Apparently Coach Bly likes what he sees out of third line. It elects to go with them versus the top line with an offensive draw here late in the period. He must like what he sees from this third line.
Well, Roviak out there now with Sifferlen and Bryant. Bryant already has the goal, so this third line delivered for him early. See if they can continue. This time, though, they're in their own zone, and then the net's going to come off its moorings and a few shoves after, and that may lead to some calls as it was a collision between Roviak and one of the Spartans forwards. I think that was Asa Palker, number 23.
It was going to be a penalty.
Coming up after, he was shoved from behind. I think it was Harrington who came over and gave the late shove. We'll see what the call.
Yeah, at least one here. I saw the referee had his hand up. Let's take a look. We're going to talk about it. Let's see if we skate 5-a-side or the team will be shorthanded. Perhaps the discussion maybe to let things go as after the whistle, we are going to get a penalty.
No, they're just going to bring the face-off out to neutral ice, I think. They're going to say that Palker is the one who instigated the net coming off the moorings instead of the man who hit him. And so that's a break for the Beacons.
Yeah, I would agree. And
I thought the Beacons might get a penalty for the stuff that happened after.
Well, yeah, Rowiak was really close there. I mean, he got away with the first couple shots. I think he was fine, and then he gave a third. And then that's why I thought the penalty call. The referee's hand went up I thought he might have gotten pulled or yanked on the third one there, but fortunately for him and the Beacons, no call. I like that with the refs. A little extra stuff is really pretty much a part of this game, no matter what the level, and always nice to see them not get too finite with the calls.
No Belak today, I don't think, so maybe that's why.
Yeah, I'll leave that topic alone.
Into the attacking zone come the Spartans, and a little nudge there coming on Manula from Albano. Beacons get possession. We are under 1 minute to play here in the first, 40 seconds to be exact. Into the attacking zone, Sifferlen. The Beacons have not had a lot of attack time in the second half of this first period, dominating the course of play in the first 10 minutes. Sifferlen didn't like that. He was sandwiched between two players. Refs, though, remain silent. Into the corner it comes. Behind the net now, Sifferlen, backhander, tried to get it in front where Bryant was sneaking into the slot. Harrington now dumps it in, 18 seconds to go. Intercepted behind the net by Barber. Barber tried to siphon it up the far side boards. Beacons pick it off. Bryant in front, a chance. One-time blast from Makowiak, and he just missed. I think the goaltender did get a piece as Albano's second chance shot with 3 seconds left is blocked, and that will do it for the first period of play. So, much like yesterday, UMass Boston getting out to a 3-0 advantage in the first period. The players barking at each other here as getting near one of the Beacons there was Connor Ryder, the freshman out of Whitby, Ontario. But cooler heads prevail as we move to the first period intermission. And Matt, like I was saying, just like yesterday, Beacons get the big 3-0 lead early on. And then in the second half of the first period, again, the opposition seemed to dominate pace of play. It's not something you like to see.
Yeah, that goal was huge for Castleton. I think the Beacons were rolling there and had some momentum. Then they give up the 2-on-1 goal, and next thing you know, Castleton, I think, really even things out in this period. Now, the score is going to dictate a different story. It's still 3-1 Beacons, and I think you'll take that if you're Coach Blyle. You tell them, hey, you'll have a 3-1 lead after one. You're going to take that no matter what the circumstances. However, I think there's a lot to change here. I don't like the fact that now for 2 days in a row the Beacons have jumped out to an early lead and yet lost in a lot of the statistical categories, particularly time of possession. I think Castleton did a fantastic job of really coming full circle after that goal, generating some second, some third opportunities. They had a second crossbar, and so they're definitely in this hockey game. I think the Beacons played well in the first. Obviously capitalized early on to give themselves a cushion, but a little bit left to be desired here moving into the second.
Meanwhile, for the Beacons, Bailey McBurney wasn't tested a whole lot in that first period. Did give up the goal. I don't think many goalies would have made that save. It was a 2-on-1, a great passing play. But what you like to see from that early lead was the play of the third line. Stevie Bryant getting his first career goal. Robiak stepping in. He had a couple of great chances, just missed on one moments ago from the far side circle. You love the depth that you've been seeing here from the Beacons when you can sub out Jack Riley, who's been outstanding in his first couple of games as a freshman, put in another freshman, and not miss a beat.
Yeah, the third line, you saw it there at the end of the period. With under 2 to go, anytime you have an offensive zone, especially early on in the hockey game, you're probably going to go with one of your – the second line was coming off the ice, so they're out. You probably go back to your first line there. And instead goes with the third line. I think that shows he really likes what he sees so far from that line of Sifferlen, Bryant, and Rakowiak. And a great opportunity. Yeah, Rakowiak already with an assist today on Bryant's first collegiate goal.
The Beacons lead it 3-1 after one against Castleton. And if you think that's bad, last year the Beacons not only got out to a big lead, they punished Castleton into the ice with a 10-1 final in a 9-goal victory against the Spartans a year ago. That was the first year for Castleton head coach Bill Salengo. He's hoping that here in the second, his team can avoid falling behind by quite that much. Let's take a look now at highlights of last year's 10-1 victory. Beacons over the Spartans right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. UMass Boston getting set for what has been a solid weekend to continue in the second period. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Skudras, as the Beacons and the visiting Spartans toil. It's 3-1 UMass Boston after one. Let's take a look at the statistics here at the first period intermission report. As you see there, UMass Boston out shooting Castleton 13-7. Both teams 0 for 2 on the power play. Two opportunities apiece, and the Beacons having won 16 of the 24 face-offs. That was a key reason why they were able to get the early lead, winning face-offs in the attacking zone, turning it into scoring opportunities. Goals by Zach Bross, his third, assisted by Harrington and Peters. A goal by Stevie Bryant, his first career goal, the first career assist for Evan Roviak. Tyler Sifferlen getting his first assist of the year, and the first goal of the season for Dakota Keene on an assist from the point shot of Garrett Gallagher. Meanwhile, Castleton cut it back to a 2-goal game with the goal by Saki Titanen, assist from Val Sverdlov and Dom Kuziak. But through 20 minutes, Matt, the Beacons leading at 3-1, but that was certainly a tale of two halves of the period. The Beacons dominating the first, and the Spartans kicking back in the second.
Yeah, the one thing, and we talked a little bit about this during the first period there, but I think the thing that's carrying the Spartans right now is how fast they're transitioning the puck. We saw a couple times there where with speed, exiting their zone, 1-2 passes, and really having an easy time breaking the forecheck of the Beacons. A couple times they generated even odd man rushes over it. So I think that's been really carrying the Spartans team. They really seem to be flying around the ice. The passing has been relatively good, and you take away kind of the slow start here, pretty even period. And so that's something that the Beacons are going to have to address. Now, I don't expect them to – it's not at the point where I think they have to change their strategy and go with a different type of forecheck. I think they just have to be more cognizant of where players are, try to limit their speed a little bit, clog some of those passing lanes, and force these Spartans to maybe have to go to the second or third option versus just that first one, and that'll help them obviously create some more turnovers and hopefully some more scoring opportunities.
UMass Boston up by 2 goals after one period. Let's take a look around Beaconville. It's been a banner weekend for the Beaks, as the women's and men's teams won yesterday in big NEHC victories. Earlier today, the women's basketball team beat the Coast Guard Academy in their season opener by the exact same score that they beat them a year ago in their season opener, 70-59. That only set them up for a program record 25-4 season and a berth in the NCAA tournament. We hope for more of the same from the women's basketball team this year. Meanwhile, the women's hockey team off to an inauspicious start against the Johnson & Wales team. It's off to a great start in the NEHC this season. They were tied for first going into play this weekend, and they are buoying their chances of remaining in the top half of the conference as we move towards Thanksgiving with a 2-0 lead over the women. And on Wednesday, the men's basketball team kicks off their campaign right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network as they take on Bridgewater State. Coverage of that one on the BBN getting underway just before 7 p.m. this coming Wednesday. Well, I alluded to the women's hockey victory yesterday, a 4-1 triumph over New England College. That was a critical one for Dom Rossi's club, as they had gotten off to a slow start in the NEHC, getting their first conference victory against the Pilgrims of New England College yesterday. Let's take a look at highlights of that right now here on the Intermission Report on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
Into the corner, it trickles into the far side boards. Harris, back in, good feed, back there. Let's go back in the quick and they score!
as they look to continue what has been a strong weekend for Boston sports. As the Beacons and the Spartans continue to toil here from Clark Athletic Center's Edward T. Barry Ice Rink. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Scudris. And Matt, in that first period, we saw all that action. We've spoke a lot about it. Meanwhile, the Beacons, looking at their season as a whole so far, I remember talking to you at the EHL exhibition game. We were talking about how there was so much uncertainty with UMass Boston coming in. Not only with all the freshmen that were coming in and expect to have key roles, the loss of one of your best players in program history, Colin Larkin, whose name is right up there on the 100-point scorers list with 148. That's one of the top 5 numbers in Beacon's history. Yep. Not only Bailey McBurney struggling, getting pulled in his last game, but then also just the strength of the NEHC, getting more teams in it this year. Norwich, Babson, Hobart, real tough competition. So far, the Beacons passing with flying colors. They're up to 4-0 on the year, 3-0 in the conference. They played the toughest team and beat them resoundingly, and now they're up 3-1 after one. We're not even through a quarter of the schedule here, but you have to like what you see.
I think a tribute early on to the season, a little bit towards recruiting. I think the Beacons do a really good job in finding talent that is a little bit unsung, drawing them towards Boston to play for a program that's had a lot of recent success. I think that's part of it, but also the preparation. And Coach Blyle and Coach Schneider, Coach Murphy, really making sure that their teams are prepared going into these first games. The points, they remind the team all the time. Points count the same, whether it's the first game of the year or the last game of the year. There's still 2 points on the line no matter when you play. And especially with the way the schedule broke down early on this year, starting the season with realistically 4 games at home. I know the Wentworth game in there, and technically not 4 in a row, but realistically 4 games, let's say out of 5 at home, and you're already beat the biggest opponent that was obviously circled early on, which is Norwich. Now an opportunity here before you go on the road to win another one at home. You're up 3-1 against a Castleton team, and I think, again, goes back to the coaching staff, just making sure that these teams are prepared to start the year and not have the slow start that some of these other programs are facing right now.
Absolutely. Beacons, as you said, playing 4 straight home games. This the final of that 2-week homestand after the Wentworth game that they won 9-0. Now they go on the road next week for 2 at Johnson & Wales and at Suffolk, and then the following weekend, doesn't get any easier. They're at Southern New Hampshire, and then they have the PAL Stovepipe Classic on the 25th. So the Beacons are going to be away from home for a couple of weeks. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the NEHC, after one period, Norwich leads Babson 1-0 from Babson. And so the Beacons, who are coming into play at 3-0, the only other undefeated team in the NEHC are the Beavers at 2-0-1. Yep. If the Beacons can win this and Norwich beats Babson, that puts a little more separation. You have the game in hand over Norwich, having beaten them, though you do play them again later in the year. It's a little early to talk about tiebreakers, of course, of the conference tournament. But you know what? These games early in the year, they matter just as much as the games at the end of the year.
Oh, absolutely. And not only that, but I think with as tight as this conference has been in recent history from really top to bottom, the points really do matter. I mean, most seasons, the difference between 1 through 4 is a matter of a handful of points. Sometimes only 1, 2, maybe 3 points between all teams, all positions. And so, these are the types of games where if you can get out and you create that separation early, there's just not many games on the schedule that you leave your opposition to make up that ground. And it's a great point highlighted by you, John. While you don't want to be out-of-town scoreboard watching all night, it is something to be cognizant of, particularly post-game.
Absolutely, and the fact that it's Norwich and Babson, it's always fun to watch whenever any of these teams battle each other. They're big rivals in the NEHC and have been even before the NEHC was a conference. As back when we were in the ECAC, it was always a great battle as well. We are just about set for the start here of the second period as the Beacons and the Spartans come out. Beacons moving from right to left, Spartans moving from left to right. One more note on that Norwich-Babson game. The Cadets went 0 for 10 on the power play yesterday. Their goal was a power play goal as Redler misses short side off the side of the net. A rebound chance from Peters also off the side of the net. So the Cadets, nice to see their power play for them get a little bit better as they had been really poor in the early going this year. Meanwhile, Bross on the near side, even strength 5-on-5, back to the point for Harrington. Harrington, D-to-D far side, Albano, deflected in front off of one of the defenders. That came off Andrew Barber and eventually sent into the corner. From the near side corner, it is taken in by Alex Manula. Manula tried to outlet it. Eventually it does come to his teammate Tarvinen, who's able to get it out towards Parka, and it is on the far side moved into the attacking zone by Troy Taylor. Beacons in neutral ice, turn it over. Quick snap shot all the way in on McBurney by Asa Parker. And this one dumped on a long two-line pass for Peters. Peters, hesitation, hands off Redler. Great backhand move, a chance as he tried to tuck it to his forehand and dump it behind the netminder, but unable to get it past Pickrell and in the net.
Well, you heard the crowd let out a unison, as Redler in all alone. Castleton coming down the other end there, almost with a scoring opportunity, but a great play by Peters to pull up in that high zone area as he just misses Redler there again, but just a nice little dish there. Redler does the rest with an in-and-out move and needed one more to beat the goaltender Pickrell. Yeah, that was very close. A 2-on-1 going down the other way.
Yeah, Harrington kept it in. It turns into 2-on-1 for the Spartans, and a big save by McBurney as he denies the forward. That was number 19, Nick Gravina, who then gets tripped up behind the net by Wiswell and leads to a rush the other way for the Beacons. Knackbauer with a shot, a save made by Pickrell. Rebound chance, Santa pass, but Pickrell covers before he can get anything good on it.
Well, boy, oh boy, we got some real quick action down both ends. We had the opportunity from Redler. The Castleton Spartans come down the other side, a 2-on-1 that ends up being a partial breakaway there. McBurney with a great stop, and then the Beacons counter come down the other end and generate another scoring opportunity of their own. So some back and forth there early on in this period. Still a 3-1 game, though, however.
Just like in the first period, back and forth they go. Far side, snapshot high and wide as that one came from the stick of Jeffrey Skinner. Beacons right now trying to keep the momentum on their side, much like in the first period when they dominated the pace of play in the first 10 minutes. Skating over the red line, firing in Knackbauer. That one careening off the corner boards all the way to the far side corner. Skinner backhand behind the net for Santa Pass. Santa Pass fighting for it. Eventually it's sent back towards the point. Unable to keep it in there, Johnny Regnart. He cuts back between the streaking defender. That was Ryder, and then dumps it all the way in off the corner. Behind the net, Jason Bilski taken into the boards.
Skinner on the wall there just previously, and I think would have liked to have that one back. You know, just one of those freshman decisions there. You're trying to pick a corner, you're all alone. Instead, you got two forwards in front of the net. Would have loved to seen him, instead of trying to pick maybe the shorter far side corners, Knackbauer has a shot blocked. Get that puck maybe into an area where he can get a tip or deflection versus what realistically became a breakout pass for the other team.
That one fired wide by Boutrin. Beacons play D-to-D behind the net. Almost 3 minutes into the second period of play. Holding on to it, Brian Carter. He's out there with Regnart. The forwards at the moment are Skinner, Santa Pass, and Knackbauer. That third line still. As Regnart turns it over in his own zone. Not a good play, but a great effort as Carter was in the passing lane to help him out.
Yeah, Regnart's got to be a little bit quicker with his decision of the puck there. I know faced pressure almost immediately after that pass was received, and nothing much he could do, but got to be a little bit quicker there.
Ooh, Santa Pass hits the crossbar as that one gave Pickrell fits from the far side just over the blue line.
That one didn't miss by much. That clearly rang off the pipe. Pickrell just missed it.
There's a whistler fired in by Troy Taylor. He then tumbles down into the crease in front of Gallagher. Behind the net, it's poked by Bryant to Gallagher. Near sideboards. Santa Pass trying to poke it around and out of the zone. He cannot. It's kept in smartly there by Tarvinen. But the Beacons do get possession. Santa Pass on the neutral end of the blue line. Still out there. It's a long shift for him. He'll head to the bench now as the Beacons get that third line. Bryant as well as Roviak and Sifferlen. Bryant uses the near side boards. Get it to Gallagher. A high rising shot near side post, high and wide. Sifferlen fighting for the puck along with Andrew Barber. It's poked free behind the net. And then saucered out of the zone where it's knocked down. And the Beacons were offside and still were until just now as Sifferlen finally makes his way out.
And the way this third line's working, I'm not surprised that they're logging the minutes they're logging here. Kowiak, another almost turnover there. He needs to get off. This has been a long shift, but Beacons continue to pin these Spartans in their own zone.
Evan back to the point and over skating in and allowing a chance for a break for Manula. Coming up late is Bono as Manula fires one high and wide.
That's all Bono right there.
Oh, and then laying the lumber is Tyler Sifferlen as he sends number 23, Asa Parker, to his tuchus. Bono the other way coming in, but he got taken off the puck by Joanna Reynolds.
Gallagher got hit on the pinch. Bono with the back check created that high shot, and then down the other end, a big hit from Sifferlen in the neutral zone. Bono with a scoring chance in front, just wasn't able to corral the puck.
Backhand missed wide by Schroyer moments ago. Nice feed for Holiday, just onside. Holiday with a quick, surprising shot there from the near side circle, denied by Pickrell. He absorbs the hit, and then trying to siphon that one back to the point was Bryant, but it was off the mark, and it'll come all the way down to be cleaned up by McBurney.
Yeah, a little play there by Holiday there. A quick pull up. He's got some size there, created a little bit of room for himself, and tried the 5-hole. It's denied by Pickrell.
5.5 into the second, still 3-1. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Scooters. Beacons were heavily offsides as Albano came in well after Dakota Keene, and we'll have a whistle and a stoppage with 14:22 to go in period number 2.
Well, some serious action here. Neither team really with any major adjustments so far in the period. I think sticking to the original game plan. But we've seen both goaltenders come away with some saves. We've seen some hits. We've seen a pipe, a post. Been a pretty active period here, and we're just under 5 in.
From the red line, Redler intercepts it, dumps it in. Green's off the corner boards, the end boards. He's slowed down by Pickrell. Fitzgerald absorbs the hit. Tries to go D to D, overskating it a little bit, Boutrin. And then off the stick of Fitzgerald right to the Beacons. That's Bross. Zach from the blue line. Somehow kept that in, but he lost possession. That's going to lead to a rush the other way as Zach tumbles down and into the boards. Coming back with it, Asa Palkert. As that one's intercepted by UMass Boston. Good play by Fitzgerald. 2-on-1 for the Beacons. Peters has Bross. He will deke backhand just off the side of the net as he missed wide. The netminder Pickrell is well outside the crease. A couple of players tumble down. A check behind the play as taken down was Peters. Nothing coming of it.
Yeah, 2-on-1 there. Peters and I believe it was Bross, and Peters was very much trying to get that puck over to Bross. Here come the Beacons again.
Redler in front, a chance to find Peters. He was hooked, and a penalty coming up here on the Spartans. And then Peters, or perhaps the defender, Andrew Barber, who may be the guilty party, got that in front. But the Beacons will go to the power play, and that was like a track meet on that shift.
Yeah, and I like what the Beacons are doing here, taking a page out of the Spartans book. Quick transition. You're seeing these length passes, these passes, again, it's so critical on the tape. If you hit a player in stride, it makes it so much harder to defend. And you've seen here a couple times, Beacons on the transition were able to corral those pucks, get some scoring opportunities. You saw the 2-on-1 from Peters, Pickrell with a good save, but then again, another opportunity. They force a penalty here. Beacons are going to go on the power play, 13-19 to play. Still a 3-1 game.
Face off, one back to the point, but out into neutral ice. The Beacons will have to come out of the zone fully before they can re-enter. Hanging on to it, Carter. D to D for Regnart. Regnart, Carter, Knockbauer. As that one comes out of play. Also out there, Skinner and Sifferlen on this second power play unit. They killed off 14 seconds there in the face-off from center ice.
Yeah, unfortunate on that side of the ice there. You don't have the glass you would on the other. And so a puck that normally would be in the zone there ends up nicking a player off the bench. And as you said, a face-off at center ice.
Dumped all the way in. Good face-off win and a play made by Irwin, the junior from Ontario. Beacons trying the breakout here and set up an offense in this power play. They're 0 for 2 with the extra attacker, as are the visiting Spartans. Behind the net, Regnar fighting for it, getting tripped up a bit. Sifferlen, that's going to allow Reynolds to get to the puck first, but he couldn't get it out. Good pinch by Knockbauer. Beacons, 12:35 to go second period, 1:15 on the power play. Back to the point, Regnar takes the shot, whistles wide near side. Sifferlen thinking of getting that deflection, unable to do so. And then tied up Carter, and then an alert play using the glove. Jacob Irwin just punches it all the way down.
Yeah, and you see, again, the Spartans going very aggressive on their penalty kill, and the Beacons just not moving the puck fast enough. Here's a chance, though.
Right in front for Redler, and he couldn't settle it down on the hard pass there from Sifferlen.
You saw there, the distance pass. It's been there today. I would continue to look for that if you're the Beacons. It's not something I think you go to every time, but you force the Spartans to at least recognize it and respect it. Gives you a little bit more room on your own breakout.
Carter using the body, going after the D-man, freeing up the puck. Redler backhand towards the net mouth as Santa Pass was skating through on the far side, couldn't reach him. 30 seconds left on the power play. Beacons still leading 3-1. They led 3-0 through the first 10 minutes. But a goal from Saki Titanen of the Spartans cut it down to 2. Nice handoff for Redler, a high riser. Good save with the waffle board as Pickrell with another solid play. He has had a good day today despite the early struggles.
Yeah, he's really settled in there. That's Redler. That's a top scorer for this Beacons team. And Pickrell standing tall, read it well off the blocker. They've tried him on that short side a couple times now to no avail. Bross on the zone entry here. Beacons done with their power play. We'll skate 5-on-5.
Now 0 for 3 with the man advantage are the UMass Boston Beacons. Something Peter Belisle still would like to see improve is the power play. About 28%, but this weekend it hasn't been that great as that one's deflected by Santa Pass. Redler gets it in onside. He gets it poked away back out to neutral ice on an alert play made by Tarvinen. Now coming the other way with it. Nice pull up, but a great hit by Peters as he dislodges Manula from the puck. Dumps it all the way down. This will be icing, but a good play by the freshman Chris Peters to prevent any sort of offensive attack.
Yeah, and just a tough spot there for Redler. He had Santa pass. There was a little bit of confusion. You see some tired Beacons right now. I mean, this has been a long shift. That icing really hurts them here, and Castleton should really be rushing to take this face-off. I mean, the Beacons, you see a lot of them hunched over trying to grab some air as much as possible. They need a change very quickly here. This is a key opportunity for the Spartans. This Beacons team, you see that Bross looks like he's intentionally trying to get tossed here, and it's working. He's buying himself and his team some time. This is a big face-off now for Redler.
Face-off one back by Redler, hit the referee, and then on second effort got it to the end boards where Albano pokes it for Peters, and now here's Redler. Can he get his speed out in front of the D? Redler with a shot, just high and wide, short side, trying to go blocker side again, the second straight time, Nolan Redler, but he missed the net entirely. Now here come the Spartans the other way, trying to take advantage of the rush. Jason Bielski all the way in. Bielski taken down, but it looked like much of that was just his own momentum as the Beacons gained possession. Albano. Bielski had Ryder on the near side, just elected to take it himself and couldn't do anything with it.
And you said it, Redler with another opportunity here on that rush and tested, again, blocker side. Missed the net, not by much there. And might be a little bit of a scouting report you see here on the Beacons. They've tested Picker on that blocker hand all night.
Into the end boards it goes. Dakota Keene out there with the rest of the fourth line. McGregor and Holiday join him. Gallagher at the blue line keeps it in with aggression. Fighting for it still with number 28, Sake Tikkanen. The goal scorer for the Spartans. Backhanded into the zone by Bono. He kept it in. High rising shot there from Holiday. Misses high and wide. Nice hesitation move and a fake to the right by Gallagher. Sets it up for a chance in front as he tried to connect with Holiday, but he couldn't get good wood on it.
Yeah, I love that play as we're going to get an icing here. I love that play from Gallagher. You know, the extra move at the blue line, you've got a forward coming out at you that's committed to blocking that shot. You just do a little extra move there, create some space, and then just try to feather one towards the front of the net, and he did not miss. I believe it was it Holiday or Santa Pass? I saw the two, but was able to get that puck towards the front of the net and just missed that from being a grade A scoring opportunity. But really like the play there from 6.
The Akron native unable to get his stick on it, but nonetheless has continued to play aggressive on both ends of the ice as the Beacons emerge from their own half. We are beyond halfway through this game. 9:14 to go. Sifferlen on the near side boards all the way around to the end boards. Harassed by Taylor. Drops it off. Robiak back to the point. Carter waits, looking for a deflection in front from the stick of Bryant, who was looking for his second goal of the day, but he couldn't get good wood on it.
And you're seeing the carryover from the momentum of this power play here. The Beacons have had some great opportunities here. Now, they've missed the net a few times, and I think might want to be a little bit too fine with some of these shots. I know some of these opportunities you're trying to pick a corner here, but would really like to see them perhaps get these towards the front of the net a little bit quicker. Force Pickerel to maybe use the pads a little bit. His rebound control has been not the best, and so maybe a slight adjustment there for these Beacon forwards.
Still his third line, finding a man in front as Peters had just come off the bench and replaced Bryant. And now 3-on-2 the other way as the Beacons were going on a change. With possession, Pfizer tried to drop it back for Wiswell, but a great play by Regnar to poke it away. Well,
not the best move from Peters there to create a toe drag. You're already in the slot. Just fire that puck. No need for that extra move. And then Beacons caught on a change. That was a long 3-on-2 there, but the Beacons were able to defend it well.
Ross comes through the slot, hands it off Carter. Back far side. Regnar peels it back, fires right into the breadbasket of Pickrell. He'll cover. No rebound, and some pushing and shoving from the forwards and D-men for their respective clubs.
And I like that shot from Regnar. Again, not trying to do too much. I know it looks like nothing. It's just a simple shot and a save, a relatively routine save there from Pickrell in the breadbasket. But those are the types of pucks that have the best chance of being tipped or deflected in. And I'll take that if I'm Coach Blyle. A shot from the blue line that your defenseman gets it through. Just a nice play there. I think more of that is needed from this Beacons team here so far today. Everything else has looked good, but a couple more shots, a couple more opportunities like that.
Face off, one back into the boards, and then eventually sent up and into the netting. The Beacons had the top line out there. We'll see if they stay. Looks like they will. 7:57 to go. Second period action. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Scudris. This is the Beacons Broadcasting Network. As the ensuing face-off to be taken between Anton Tervainen and Zach Bross. Bross pokes it into the corner. Coming over Manula to siphon it all the way around and out of the zone. Harrington saucers it into the attacking zone. No icing. Backhanded by Schroyer, far side. Frost fighting with two Spartans. It pokes through his legs, and Redler picks it up. Uses his right arm to fist it into the slot, never made its way through. And eventually it's taken for a chance the other way for the Spartans. Great feet in front, quick blast, and a good save on Manula by the netminder McBurney, and then some action in his crease afterwards, as Bailey had to be alert on that one.
Oh, good shot and save indeed there, John. And McBurney hasn't really been tested here in quite some time. There were a couple power plays for the Beacons. They've done a great job in possessing the puck in the offensive zone. Really, McBurney has not been called upon, and that was a tricky save. That's from an area there as a goaltender. You've got to get a good read on it. That's in close with definite time and space for the shooter, and McBurney there on his angle was able to solidify that shot all the way in. No rebound. We're going to get a penalty. At least one, if not two. I think the refs have had enough. And I give them credit. It looks like Albano is going to be, at least he's in the box. Beacons might be shorthanded here. And I'll tell you what, this is on them. The refs have been very lenient with what they've allowed after the whistle, to applause in my perspective. But Beacons crossing the line a little bit, just too many extra shots. You're allowed a few. The refs, especially in front of the net, will allow you to, jab a little bit. But after a certain point, you've got to break it up. And I think that this is a case where the refs have said, okay, enough. It's just too much. And the Beacons are going to be shorthanded here.
That they are. 2-minute minor on Albano. And the Beacons are shorthanded, trying to get something going. Shorthanded, Coda Keene all the way in. Backhander, and that one almost made its way to the top right corner of the post. But instead it whistled wide. Meanwhile, McGregor has possession. What a play by this penalty kill. Keene and McGregor. McGregor will hit the bench and be replaced out there by Caruso. But nonetheless, killed off 30 seconds quite sufficiently.
That's great work there. Keene and McGregor there on the forecheck, just really outworking this Spartans team, and we're going to get a penalty. Yeah. That's a great play by Bono. That's a great play, and I like what he did there. He ate the hit. It was late. He knew it, and rather than taking the extra shot, just skates away, and we're going to skate side here, as I believe it's going to be, quite sure, Manula on the roughing. John's happy I got that name right. You thought I was going to butcher that, didn't you?
I was scared.
There's always a chance. Folks who tune in know the name pronunciations can be so difficult. Well, it's because we've gone away from the Smiths and Johnsons, and now we got the Titanins and the
Carvinans,
Kosiaks.
Well, I wrote down the phonetic pronunciations on my depth chart. You don't have it, so that's why I was
to cheat. I need the cheat sheet.
Done. You got the job done. That's how you know you're a good broadcaster. You don't need the help.
Thank you, sir.
As the Beacons and the Spartans skate 4-on-4 now for the next 60 seconds. There's a shot right into the legs of McBurney by Wiswell. Uses his stick to fist it into the sideboards. Regnart fighting for it along with Knockbauer back to the point, all the way through the wickets of the defender Barber, and it comes all the way back down. Beacons are going to be shorthanded, or not shorthanded. Beacons will be on a power play rather for it's almost exactly 40 seconds. Those clocks pretty synchronized. Once Nick Albano peeks his way out. As that bouncing puck, that's a tough one on a short hop for McBurney to handle, but he did a good job.
Oh, I hate those. Oh, as a goaltender, those are up there as your worst nightmare. I mean, you've got a shot from distance. You've got to stop. You can't let those in, but you do see them squeak in from time to time, and usually if they bounce, you've got to make a decision whether or not to come out of your crease and take it on the hop or sit back a little bit and try to, like you said there, take it on the short hop, and McBurney read that one perfectly. If they bounce, there's always the opportunity. You don't really know if it's on edge where it's going to bounce. You kind of try to angle it as best you can. Those are always tricky. But the other thing, too, here, the final 5 here in the second period, and we're reaching a point now where really morphs the remaining time, this in the third period. This next goal becomes crucial. If Castleton's able to get it and make this a 3-2 hockey game, we're in for an absolute battle in this third period. If the Beacons can get it, as that shot doesn't miss by much, the Beacons can get it, they can really lock this thing down in the third.
That was Pfizer who missed high and wide. Then he got the puck on the end boards. Peters connecting from Redler, far side, finds Bross. Rather Gallagher who siphons it in, then takes the hit on number 39, Troy Taylor. Just 8 seconds to go on the penalty to Albano. He is ready to come out, just sitting on the end of the bench. Ready to pop in, and he will. So the Beacons have a 40-second power play with 5:25 to go. Albano's waiting for the pass from Redler. Nolan decides to take it himself over, slow things up, drops it back for Albano. Nick, he's got a shooting lane. He'll take it. Just missed near side wide.
Too many missed shots today. Beacons have had just too many. You know, it's once in a while, you know, a couple of these shots you try to pick a corner, but it's been almost a turnover there between Albano and McBurney. But just too many chances where the Beacons have had really good looks at the net and just try to be a little bit too fine with it.
And it seems like they're all coming short side.
Yeah, it's been all blocker side too. I haven't seen, you know, maybe a couple at the chest glove side, but definitely nothing low.
Ross drops it back to the point. Albano down low. Power play is over. 5-on-5 aside. 4:40 to go in the second period. Still 3-1 Beacons. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Scudris as that one deflected for Ross off the point shot from Albano and sticked away by the netminder Pickrell. As Harrington gets it at the red line. Beacons onside barely as Harrington into the attacking zone. Harrington all the way around. Deland sets it up in front for Peters, who couldn't settle it down. Keeping it in the zone. Albano a shot. That one whistles this time far side on the glove side. And Harrington can't keep it in. They'll reset.
Great play by Harrington to continue to move that puck and keep his head up. You saw him find it in Peters in the slot there. The puck just bounced on him. And I know Peters would like to have that one back as he was primed for a one-timer there. But just missed. But a great play by Harrington to keep his head up behind the net looking for those outlet passes.
Peters absorbs the big hit there from Saki Tikkanen. And that forces the turnover as Tikkanen gains on it and then absorbs the hit from Roviak. There's a shot deflection. They score! Sifferlen took the blast from the slot. Not sure if one of the Beacons got the deflection or if it was off a Spartan. Nonetheless, just like yesterday, the Beacons have extended the lead to 3. It's 4-1.
Oh, just a great play. Continue to outwork this Castleton team, and they had a really great shift there. We just got done talking about Harrington to Peters. They were able to clear. Castleton was able to clear the zone. Beacons come right back in there and are able to continue to outwork. A couple hits along the wall. Beacons continue to pressure, make some moves towards the net. And like you said, Sifferlen makes a move towards the center, and it was deflected off something. It looked like Pickrell, based on his reaction, didn't get quite as clean a read as he would have hoped. And the Beacons, that's a huge goal there, John. A 4-1 lead now with 3 to play in the second period.
You said it a few minutes ago. If the Spartans could get the next goal going into the third, that would be big for them. That was just as big for the Beaks. As Sifferlen's still out on the ice. I believe he gets credit for the goal as that one is dumped all the way around. And the Spartans will try to break out and get momentum back. Here's Bilski. Bilski out there with Irwin and Ryder. Takes the shot right into the glove of McBurney. And then peeling in on him as Carter takes exception to the 6'6" freshman Connor Ryder coming in McBurney's crease.
And it's important here that you know, the Beacons take this lead into their locker room. If they can give one back to Castleton, all of a sudden, you know, a 2-goal game going into the third is so different from a 3-goal lead, just in terms of strategy and mentality. And let's see what we get here.
I think they're both going to go.
Yeah, 4-on-4. So it looked like originally there was a penalty. Not sure which team had the original, but enough warranting a second. So Carter will go for the Beacons. And it looks like Ryder, I believe it's Ryder, the freshman, the 6'6" freshman, will also sit. You know, the other player I want to mention, Tikkanen, we've mentioned his name a lot. The fourth-line center here tonight, he's been all over the ice. In my opinion, I think Castleton's best player. I mean, he's really had some speed. He's not the biggest guy, only listed at 5'9", 154, but he's really had a presence here today.
He is the youngest player on that forward core for Castleton, born May 24th, 1997. Their second youngest, I should say, behind Ryder, as that one is into the corner. Only younger player outside those two is Barber, who was born October the 28th of 97. Coming all the way in is Gallagher, 4-on-4, as Matt said moments ago, for the next 90 seconds.
Funny. Gallagher not used to leading the rush there quite like Albano, perhaps, as he goes to drop the puck on a cycle and gives it right to a Castleton Spartan.
Garrett no more for his defense, but he's showing his offensive prowess the last couple of days with goals today and yesterday. As Brawl Sports side, oh, what a save! As getting over, I believe, to get a piece of it was the netminder Pickrell on a one-time chance from number 26. That, of course, being Daniel Knackbauer. Another chance for Albano, deflected up into the netting. as the Beacons 4-on-4 showing their speed.
Yeah, nice little play by Bross. Enters the zone there. He was pretty much covered. And you saw there, was able to protect the puck and drive that puck towards the back door, looking for Knockbauer. And he didn't miss by much. I think Pickrell made that stop. I think that went off his skate there, John. And then sure enough, Albano corralling that puck towards the left side here. And in-zone draw makes me believe that Pickrell got a piece of that one as well. Two great stops.
Almost tripped over a footstool up here and then almost pulled the microphone out. Thank you, Matt, for covering for me there.
I was going to give you a free pass there, man, but
people think
I like your honesty.
People think it's easy. It's not easy. Not only do you have to talk a lot, you have to watch out for the obstacles.
Yeah, me having my foot up on a footstool definitely didn't help your case.
Well, I don't even think we need the footstool. It's a Fugel's doing the camera now. She's like 6 feet tall, so what is the point? As this one is dumped all the way down by the Spartans with 90 seconds to go in the period, and that is icing in the 4-on-4, so a break for the Beaks.
Yeah, it's still a minute 30 here. And we got an injury here. I'm trying to get a look at it's a Spartan. Trying to get a number. I think it's Pfizer. Is it Pfizer there, John? Yes. I might have taken one off the foot. It is Pfizer indeed, the captain, senior captain, and in some duress on the bench there being attended to. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. He is the second-line center today. That would be a big loss for this Castleton team.
Tragic. Far side, face-off won by the Spartans, dumped all the way around. 80 seconds to go in the period. Keep in mind, for Castleton, if they lose this game, they're off to an 0-3-1 NEHC start. To be inauspicious to say the least. Speaking of, Zach Ross is out of the game and walking out of the arena.
Yeah, he's got his skates. I think that's a skate issue. I don't think that's an injury. So with only a minute here in the period, a good move by him to get that attended to is you want to make sure you're ready to go for the third.
52 seconds left here in the second. As coming on over the red line, dumping it in is Garrett. He'll get off the ice.
Oh, off a bad bounce there, huh?
Into the corner it comes with 40 seconds to go. Fighting for it, McGregor with two Spartans. What a play by McGregor. Got it to Holiday, who backhanded it through the net mouth. Keane couldn't get good wood on it. And McGregor spins like a top into the ice. Kept in with the glove of Carter. D-to-D far side, Regnard. Regnard took the shot. Good block. Right out into neutral ice on a play made there by number 26. That being Jacob Irwin. And then Holiday into the attacking zone. Onside, a high riser over the net. As that one again missed high and wide from Holiday.
That's that quick transition of the Beacons there. Two passes in the zone, and you saw Holiday with a scoring opportunity there. It's a great call by Pickrell. With 5 to play, you got to settle things down here. You cannot afford to give another one up. But Holiday in the slot just missed high. But a nice transition play there for the Beacons. Now with 5 to play, you have plenty of time to run a face-off play here. And we'll see which side they put it on is going to matter, because the center, whether or not they're on their forehand or on their backhand here, it's going to be Knockbauer. So he is going to be on his forehand as a lefty. Let's see if he can win this one back. He doesn't. He loses it. That'll be the end of the period.
Yeah, it is. As Matt nonchalantly put there, it is the end of the period as the Beacons, a successful one, I think. After that first period, you really thought it could go either way. Because the first half of the first period, the Beaks dominated. The second half was dominated by the Spartans. And then you thought maybe, you hope the Beaks didn't run out of gas, putting everything down in that first 10 minutes after a tough game yesterday. But here in the second period, Beacons came out, and they really took it to them from start to finish, getting that big fourth goal. And from here, all you're looking for is for the Beaks to maintain that aggression the rest of the way. That
goal to make it 4-1 is huge for this team. Early on, both teams trading blows. I mean, this was a 3-1 game, and it looked like could go either way. I mean, Castleton really with a couple scoring opportunities there on McBurney, and Beacons definitely did a better job here in this second period of possessing the puck. I mean, they clearly made some transitions there, or some changes rather, that allowed them to really possess this thing longer than they did in the first. And I think you saw there as the period wore on, they just kind of outworked. They started outworking this Castleton team, generating more scoring opportunities, despite the fact that a lot of those ended up being missed shots on goal. You saw the goal late there, and able to make this one a 4-1 game. That goal is going to really pay dividends here in the third period. Having that 3-goal cushion is going to allow Coach Blyle to continue to roll the majority of his lines versus having to keep his top matchups out there. And so a great period by the Beacons. Not out of the woods yet, still a period to play, but a big goal there late in the second period to extend their lead.
Meanwhile, that third line continued its solid play today. Tyler Sifferlen getting his second goal this season in the assist, the sole assist given to Robiak. And that's his second assist of the day. So he comes in after being the 19th man, the extra forward yesterday, and being a scratch last week. And he has 2 assists in this his first chance to play full minutes.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate for Riley, being that, he's the one that's out of the lineup. But when a coach makes a lineup change after a win, you lose a game, you're expecting, coach, I could get a phone call tonight. There's a possibility I don't play tomorrow, we just lost. But after a win, you really expect the lineup to remain the same. And so for your coach to make that type of change, really, I think, a little bit of a fire on that third line there, John, because you take a look, Sifferlen, a junior, Bryant a freshman, and then you put another freshman on that line. I think he was kind of sending a message, hey, despite the win, you got to earn your job each and every night. And so I think here today, a little bit of chemistry. I like what I've seen so far from 17 and from 18, the 2 freshmen. Sifferlen with the goal there late. And, that third line has really – and we've been waiting for that all year for these Beacons. The top 2 lines have been great. Fourth line's given us what we've expected. It was the third line that was missing. And I think the coaching staff, I'll be interested to hear what they have to say, their likes and dislikes of that line, assuming they get the win here today.
Before we go to a break, I'm going to put you on the spot here. All right?
I'm
going to put you on the spot.
We
have seen today goals by Keene, his first of the year, and Bryant, his first career goal. There's only a few players here still on the starting lineup that – don't have goals yet this season. Who's your next pick to get their first goal of the season? It looks like you got choices of McGregor, Holiday, Caruso, and maybe Riley if nobody else gets it today.
Holiday's been around the net. I'd probably take the senior. I'll go with the senior in Holiday. I know he's on the fourth line, but here in the third period, he'll see his minutes increase. He's already had a couple scoring opportunities today. In games previous, he's had some of the same. I would love to see him get one. He's got a great engine. He's really the motor behind that fourth line. And Keene already with one today. I've liked the way McGregor played. But I'm going to go with Justin Holiday as my guy. Now this is just for guys who haven't scored yet this season, right? Okay.
Right.
So if that's the case, yeah, we'll put number 21 on the spot for me.
You talk about scoring depth. When you talk about the only people who haven't scored when you're only through 4 2/3 games are your 2 fourth-line center and winger, your 19th man, and 1 defenseman, John Bono. Everyone else on D has at least 1 goal, with the exception of Pat Harrington, who's only played in 3 games and has had opportunities and probably will be up there soon enough. So the Beacons, with that scoring depth, have built a 4-1 lead after 2. We're going to go to a break. When we come back, we'll get a look at the second period intermission stats, another look around Beaconville, and much, much more. It's 4-1 UMass Boston here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
This preseason, it's a little different because we're so young, so it kind of requires everybody, because we're kind of a team full of sophomores, to step up in different ways instead of having people who have been here for years and years that kind of know the route already to kind of direct us. So we just got to find it within ourselves to step up, even though we're young and we're all the same age, so there's not a lot of direct authority anymore.
There need to be more voices than just, our 2 upperclassmen, Jamie and Lisi, right now. Taj is doing a great job being a big leader in that. Jelani's doing a great job. And, so when I see all these people, being great leaders, I'm like, I need to step in, because if I'm going to fill these roles of the people who left last year, then, they're going to need me.
In practice, there's not really, one person just, setting the standard. It's everyone as a group. And I feel like that's really, a really good example for us, because we only had, 3 people we looked up to last year. Now we have 15.
Lydia was somebody who pushed it no matter what. She was just fast with the ball all the time, no matter what. So what I've tried to do personally was try to do what she did. When we get the ball, push it, get over half court, worry about the rest later. As far as Jamie, she's sort of new, so I've been trying to get her on the same page as that, and we're all pretty collectively, as when we get it, we want to go, because that's how we score the most of our points is transition. So it all starts with the point guard.
Every practice, we're taking it step by step. We're not even looking towards, we're going to win. We're taking it day by day, step by step, and we're just going to win this practice. We're just going to win warm-ups. We're going to win this timeout. We're going to win the locker room. Definitely, little goals like that are really helping us strive for the bigger picture.
I think that having a target on our back this year, because we did so well, obviously, last year, makes us all work so much harder this year, because we want to prove it again and again and again. Me personally, I'm hoping that my class get 3 more rings. I think Coach wants that also, and she sees how strong we are as a group, and she's just pushing us harder and harder every day, and us pushing each other. That target's going to keep coming every year, and we're going to win every year.
We're all just trying to chip in, basically, because there's no captains officially or anything like that yet, so we don't have that one person to turn to. But I feel like everybody's opinion all combined into one big thoughtful one, so I feel like we're doing okay as far as everybody giving the same amount of effort to create what we had before.
Because we're going hard, we're getting more used to our bodies, we're getting used to our new court, and we're getting more repetitions. It's good for us because we're competing, because we're running, we're sprinting. The extra repetitions that we probably didn't get last year because we had 18 people, even though we have low numbers, we're still playing hard. We're still using our numbers to our advantage with certain drills that help us specifically for boxing out, transition, when we can't go 5-on-5. We try to get everything we need to where we would go on 5-on-5 in the half court.
Kind of like defining what we do and what we do best, because each season it's a different team and we do different things well, and this year we've sort of found that we score when we're moving fast. When we get the ball up the court, we get uncontested shots. So right now we're just focusing on how we can do better in transition.
This year, Yoda has really stepped up. I've noticed in the games and practice, she's really hustling to get to the balls, on the floor, getting the rebound, offensive and defense, boxing out. And then Maya Thompson, she's doing a big job. She was hurt with her boot, and she just got back, but she's doing an amazing job getting the flow back in. Even with the little time she's been playing with us, she's doing a really good job filling in Shania's shoes.
I think they're great. They are a great addition to the team. They really came here to work hard, and I think that's what we needed. We didn't need people to set us back. We needed people to push us forward. They really are pushing us, to be better.
The goals for this year's team is to kind of define a new identity, because we're not the same team as last year, although we still want to go further than what we did last year. So coming together, creating a new game plan, and figure out what works for us to get there again.
We have these 3 words: communicate, effort, and compete. Those are our goals every day in practice, every day in our games, and every day when we see each other. So, that's what we're going to try to strive for every day this year.
UMass Boston leading 4-1 after 2 as we move to the third period. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I am John Skudras as the Beaks look to finish off what will be an exceptional weekend with a back-to-back NEHC victories if they can hold it on through the final 20 minutes of play. Let's take a peek at the second period intermission statistics. Beacons leading in shots 21-12. Meanwhile, the power play for both teams continuing to struggle. Beacons are 0 for 5 on the power play today, and they're 0 for 4 for the Spartans. Penalty kill's been outstanding. Beacons penalty kill maybe the best I've ever seen. They were 96% coming into play. They're 0 for 4 right now. It's only going to go up. The power play, you got to see more from it. They're not even getting those great scoring opportunities here today that they were getting against Norwich yesterday.
And again, a little bit too fine. I think one of the things that made them successful in the first period was that they were moving the puck quickly. And when you have a team that's aggressive on the penalty kill like Castleton has been today, that puck movement can be killer. If you move it fast, the puck generally moves faster than the skaters can. And so you move that puck quickly, you can really find some gaps pretty quickly on the power play. Beacons got away from that a little bit. They're holding it longer. They're allowing Castleton to kind of approach them faster than I think they would have liked. So I'd like to see them get back to a little bit more of that quick puck movement, have guys, and the other thing too, having guys that don't have the puck skate a little bit more in and out, creating a little bit more of a difficult task for these Spartans to cover them. I think that would really help boost this power play, as you said, some room for improvement here today versus yesterday.
In the second period, the only goal at 16-14 scored by Sifferlen. Tyler's second of the year. Rakowiak on the assist, his second, as the Beacons took a 4-1 lead, out shooting the Castleton Spartans 21-12. Beacons led in shots on goal, well, by a cavalcade of players. 4 players with 2 shots. That's Albano, Gross, McGregor, in fact, and Holiday, who each have 2 shots on goal, part of the 21-shot onslaught for UMass Boston today. So the Beacons leading at 4-1. Let's take a look around Beaconville. And we got an update on that women's hockey game from Johnson and Wales. They have cut the deficit down to 2-1 on a Brie Colucci goal as the D-men delivers on an assist from Jane Morissette as the Beacons, after 2, down 2-1 against Johnson and Wales. Earlier today, the women's basketball team beating the Coast Guard 70-59, and the men's basketball team will host Bridgewater State to kick off their campaign on Wednesday at 7 p.m. Speaking of the men's basketball team, last year was a solid season for them. Let's take a look at highlights of the men here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.
My mama called, see you on TV, sunset done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I won't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot how to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hate and say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it. They was never friendly. Yeah, I'm jumping out the band. Yeah, and I know it sounds dramatic. Yeah, but I knew I had to have it. Yeah, for the money I'm a savage. Yeah, I be itching like I had it. Yeah, I'm surrounded 20 bags. Yeah, but they didn't know me last year. Yeah, everyone wanna act like they important. They don't mean nothing when I swim my door.
Maybe a little bit of support there in the paint. Sit down.
Everyone counting on me, drop the ball. Yeah. Everything custom like I'm at the bottom. Yeah. If you win it, put your lighters to the sky. How could it don't make sense when I got millions on my mind? Coming with that put it to the side. All the sense of baby, they can see it in my eyes. My mama called, see you on TV, sunset done changed. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I won't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations. Worked so hard, forgot to vacation. They ain't never had the dedication. People hate and say we changing, look, we made it. Yeah, we made it. I was patient. I was patient. Now I can scream that we made it. Now everywhere I go, they say congratulations. Young graduation. I pick up the rock and I ball, baby. I'm looking for someone to call, baby. But right now I got a situation. Never old Ben Frank. Big rings, champagne. My life is like a ball game, but instead I'm in a trap though. Pot so big, call it Super Bowl. Super Bowl, call it. Get in the rose. Top flow lifestyle. Huncho and post. Malone. I got a plan on my phone. You know what I'm on. Huncho Houdini is gone. My mama called. See you on TV. Sunset don't change. Ever since we was on, I dreamed it all. Ever since I was young, they said I wouldn't be nothing. Now they always say congratulations.
Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Skudras. The team's coming back onto the ice for the third period as we get set for one more go of it this weekend. Matt, it's been a lot of hockey called here over the course of the weekend. You missed the women's game yesterday. Seth Orensky reminds you about 7 times of that.
Yep.
And now we get a chance to see the men's team potentially sweep the NEHC opposition before they go on the road for a 4-game sweep over the next 2 weeks. What do you want to see from the Beaks over the final 20 minutes of this one?
There's no excuse. You're up 3 at home, late on a Saturday. You've got 2 points here you took last night. There's no doubt you should be able to pull out the win here today. You got a 3-goal lead, and without question, the way your goaltender's been playing, you've got to find a way to keep this one out. It really just continue to roll 4 lines. There's no need for Coach Blyle to have to continue to look for specific matchups. He can roll 4 here, stick to the system. And before we have puck drop here, John, a quick shout-out to one of the most forgettable UMass Boston Beacons of recent memory, Colin Larkin of the Edmonton Oilers organization. He clearly has no friends on the team because he is tuned in with us on a Saturday night.
Or he's the smartest guy that's been on the team in the last couple of decades for tuning in right now as the Beaks on their way to a weekend sweep if they can hold on to this 3-goal lead. Still plenty of time left as the Spartans get it into the Beacon zone. Of course, Colin, 148 career points. There's a chance for one here for the Spartans as a shot from the point. Take it in and blocked. A great save on Taylor. Here comes Peters the other way. Hands it off to Redler near side, and he whiffed on a chance. Sent back in front, but Bross was not in the right position. It's knocked wide by Barber.
Beacons are fortunate there. Real quick, right off the opening draw, that puck was in their zone. That crossing pass did not miss by much on the connection. That would have been in the back of the net.
Peters winds up a slap shot in that one. Waffle boarded away by Pickrell as he got a lot on that one. But Pickrell's been sound with the blocker so far this afternoon. Coming back the other way, Pfizer, he's okay after an injury scare late in the second. Back out on the ice is the captain for Castleton as that one shoots up into the corner for Peters to corral. Spins it back towards the near side boards. Taken in and backhanded out of harm's way by Jeffrey Skinner. He connects with the big 6'5" forward Santa pass, but the Illinois native gives it away in the offensive zone, and then Skiller takes a man down, and he's going to go to the sin bin as he tripped up number 29, that being Caleb Pfizer, and the captain draws a penalty, 2 minutes for tripping.
That's huge. That's huge. I mean, and that's the thing. That will keep this Castleton team alive. If UMass Boston continues to take penalties and give this Spartans team more opportunities with the man advantage, that's really their only saving grace here in this period.
Colin Larkin now on the Edmonton Oilers organization, as you said, and that's an organization that's had a lot of talent over the years. Colin just one of many, as Dakota Keene is quite a talent. He fires that one, though, but it's blockered away again by Pickrell, who continues to be picked on the blocker side, but he gets game for that as Dakota Keene goes right into the body of Anton Tervainen, who eventually tumbles down in his own zone. From the far side into the attacking zone on the power play are the Spartans, but the Beacons take control, and it's dumped all the way down by Keene. A good shift for him. And
for those that are unaware, a recent tradition for UMass Boston, boys standing up on the penalty kill and get the sticks tapping on a clearing attempt, or a successful clearing attempt, I should say.
That's definitely offsides, as skating ahead of the puck and into the zone was Irwin, and that will lead to a stoppage, and we might get a little bit more out of it after the play.
Yeah, let's see what we got here. Another penalty for sure. It's on the Beacons. I think Regnart's going to go. Took an extra shot after the whistle. And it's going to be a 5-on-3. Not what Coach Blau wanted at all to start this period here. Just under 2 minutes in, and now already 2 penalties. You've got a 5-on-3. Boy, if you're Castleton, it doesn't get much better than this. You have got to find a way to get at least a goal here.
That's a long one. 75 seconds of 5-on-3 time. Back to the point. Pitched back down, now back to the point, D-to-D feed. Taylor gets it back. One-time blast blocked down in front. Ross was there. Taylor goes far side for another. Deflected in front off the stick of Bielski from the blast from the point of Barber. Behind the net now. Pfizer. Back to Taylor. Down low off the skate of Wiswell. Glenn switches spots back up to the point to quarterback. The power play, a deflection in front, and that one just went wide. Pfizer now back to Wiswell at the point. 42 on the 5-on-3. Trying to go top shelf. Bar down was Taylor, but getting a piece of it with the shoulder was McBurney, and we'll get a stoppage.
And that's a good break for the Beacons there as that puck. Good save by McBurney, getting that puck. They getting that blocker side up, rather, deflecting that puck high and into the netting, and that'll allow both teams to make a change here. It's going to be Harrington with Bryant, 2 freshmen out there with Albano. So clearly, Coach Blau with a reliance early on here on his freshmen, 2 freshmen here in a critical point in the game.
Face-off won by the Spartans. Getting tight now, right on the top of the circle. Far side, tough angled shot. That one denied on the shot attempt by Tarvinen. And then a check there. Laying the lumber was Schroyer as he took down Stevie Bryant. One-time chance in the slot off the skate, and then a great play by Bryant from his skate to his stick and cleared all the way down.
That's a great out. That's a tough out on the backhand. To get that cleared 200 feet, that's huge.
Just 7 seconds left on the 5-on-3. Tarvinen goes far side. Harrington, the freshman, wise beyond his years, gets a stick in the passing lane, and that's it for the 5-on-3.
And you see Coach Blau knowing his team. Bryant with the clear on the backhand sends it 200 feet. And then you've got Harrington with the read on the breakout. Was able to deflect that puck off the wall, send it right back down. You've already killed off the first half of this 5-on-3. Still 30 seconds on the second penalty.
And then Zach Bross using his body to take out Pfizer, and now using his stick to try to set up a shorthanded rush the other way. All the way in onside is Bross. He's fisted off of his trajectory by Taylor, and eventually triple teamed with the Beacons shorthanded somehow, some way. The play is all in the Spartan zone.
Yeah, I like the play by Bross, trying to protect that puck. He was waiting for Keene to fill the second lane there as Castleton with a chance.
All the way in, but unable to keep the puck on his stick was Bilski, as Keene uses his left arm to keep him away. A referee tumbles down in the corner. The penalties are over. The Beacons killed off a 5-on-3 and a 5-on-4. And with a 4-1 lead, that is a good story for UMass Boston.
Yeah, that's huge. I mean, coaching staff has to remind this team now, though, however, we cannot take penalties. I mean, that was way too risky here. Castleton didn't get too much, but that is not a recipe for a win here. And Beacons, again, so we'll get a whistle here.
Puck came up and into the bench, so a face-off from the offensive zone for UMass Boston.
Beacons need to find a way. Just continue to roll forward lines, and it sounds simple and pretty common, but however, situations like that, there, you've got to, now you've taxed your penalty kill. You've got to reset the lines a little bit here. Fourth line out there right now, the McGregor line.
Beacon's penalty kill is now 28 of 29 29 of 30 on the season after those two penalty kills. An impressive number, to say the least, as their penalty kill has been tops in the NEHC for the duration of the early going of this campaign. We are about 5 minutes into the third period as Carter's tied up behind the net. Emerging from the fracas with it is McGregor, sends it far side. Holiday, though, partly lost an edge at the blue line. Was able to get it at least into the attacking zone for McGregor to poke deeper. Tumbling down into the corner was the defender, Boutrin. Able to keep possession, Caruso, the 19th man, as he sends it back behind the net. Holiday lets it trickle to the far side corner for McGregor. McGregor backhanded, looking for Caruso on the slot, intercepted by Boutrin, and he'll lead the rush the other way. It's just him and number 23, Asa Palker, as that one eventually does careen off the end boards, taken in by Ragnar, sent it far side, intercepted. 1-on-0 is great play by Carter to get over and poke it away from Wiswell. Back to the point, over skating it, and it stayed in somehow, but the pass attempt to keep it in went all the way to Regnart. Holiday got then taken down from behind by Schroyer, and Holiday's okay. He's just going on a line change.
That was a great read in the defensive zone by Brian Carter. An active stick here as a turnover. Beacons were going to get an opportunity. Close. Another turnover here. Castleton coming down the other way.
Yep, Sanapass missed on his attempt on an no-look feed to Skinner. And then another turnover here by the Spartans, lead Skinner the other way. Skinner one-on-one there with Schroyer, waiting for some help. Got it from Nackbauer, but was unable to get it through Schroyer as the big defenseman got his backside in the way of the pass. 13:51 to go in the third period. Still 4-1 UMass Boston. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Scudras here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network, as that's turned over almost in the defensive zone by the Beacons, taking it away, attempting to Kuziak, but now here's Nato Nackbauer. Nackbauer to the far side circle, blocked down by Taylor. Oh man, nifty skating here as he peeled back on a dime and then tried to center for Sanapass. That shot from the near side from Albano deflected up and out of play with 13:27 to go.
Well, a couple great shifts here. First, the fourth line. I loved what I saw there. Moving pucks deep into the zone, working off the wall and behind the net, trying to create traffic in front of the net. And then they follow that up with the second line there of Nackbauer and Skinner, just generating more so off speed into the zone there. You saw a couple opportunities where they were driving, crashing hard to the net, looking for those trailers. A couple great shifts there by the Beacons. Got to love what you see. And now a chance for that top line, or that third line rather, out there with Bryant being the center as they lose the draw, but to have a little bit of this momentum continue to push.
Third line has been the top line today. They got a couple of goals and plenty of points behind the Beacon's own net. Bailey McBurney, who hasn't been tested nearly as much as he was against the Cadets yesterday, making contact with that Sifferlen, but he's on the wrong side of the red line, and that still will be icing with 13:06 to go.
And you see there, that's the difference. I mean, seems pretty simple, right? He passes, he's got to put it on the tape. The guy, you hit him in stride. That could have been potentially an odd man rush there. Instead, pass a little bit off, creates the icing coming all the way back down. And those are the little things that, in a lot of games, help you, can be the difference between winning and losing. Especially on the breakout, and how important that is to put that puck on the stick. You see it again there.
Oh, it goes in the net. They score! Probably the ugliest goal we've seen yet this year. We were talking about bouncing pucks earlier. Pickrell's made some amazing saves, and they score from 75 feet away. It's 5-1 UMass Boston.
I don't know what happened. I honestly don't know what happened. I mean, that looked like it just perhaps it almost, John, looked like it might have curved around the goal. We've seen some weird stuff. It looked like that was just going to be a routine play on Pickrell. He was going to be able to knock it down and allow his D to come get it. Instead, I mean, it legitimately rolled around the goaltender's blocker and in. I've told people this before on the broadcast. I had an assistant coach tell me once, pucks have eyes. There's your case in point there, folks. Pucks do definitely have eyes. Sometimes as a goaltender, it's just, those are the ones that absolutely haunt your dreams there. And Pickrell, oh boy, that's a tough one.
If I'm not mistaken, it's John Bono. Yes, that is his first goal of the season. So for those in the pool who were picking the D-man, the only D-man who hadn't scored a goal, other than the freshman who has only played 3 games, Harrington, it's John Bono.
Now, am I still alive? Am I still alive with the holiday pick?
Still alive. I didn't include Bono in the it was just forwards in the discussion we had at the intermission, but still. Who would have thought Johnny Bono would be the next one to get his first goal, as that one's fired in by Ross.
Especially like that.
Fire it in from 70 feet away at this point as Pickrell denies Redler. Pickrell's made some great saves, blocker saves, and lets that in. It's, people say, I want to be a goalie. And you see something like that, you'll wonder why.
Got to have a little bit of a different brain for sure. But, yeah, those are the ones. I mean, you can't beat yourself up. It's easy for me to say up here. That's just one of those, it's a fluky goal. It found a hole. And unfortunately, well, I guess the bright side here is that we're down 3, and now extend that lead to a 5-1 lead. But those are the ones that really do keep you up at night.
Connor Ryder back to the point, taken in by Schroyer, backhanded down the near side boards. Bono sees it taken right in front by Harrington off the centering feed by the Spartans. But they are unable to do anything with it, and that's been much of the case for the second half of this hockey game. It's been all Beacons. Albano with possession. He's using his body to shield possession of the puck over the blue line. Saucers it down to Nolan Redler. Redler finds Harrington. Pat wants his first. That one waffle boarded away and into the sideboards.
Why not? He's looked good here tonight. You see the coaching staff rewarding him with more and more time on this ice.
As Peters in the attacking zone takes a shot from the near side dot, gobbled up by Pickrell, and a stoppage at 11:16.
Yeah, I'm still, oh man, those are so tough. I mean, Bono released that from the neutral zone and just took a weird bounce there. That is so tough as a goaltender. Now his response has been great. A couple good saves there. You got to have a short memory. You saw there Peters coming down the wall, tried to tuck it short side, and Pickrell was able to squeeze the elbow to his rib cage and able to corral that puck. And good on him with that short memory.
The Bono goal, I think, came off of one of the defenders at center ice that was near Sifferlen. And just the deflection must have caused enough, some sort of physics alteration to cause that puck to twist around the netminder Pickrell. In their own zone, 10:52 to go. Beacons facing a little bit of pressure here late from a desperate Castleton team. Down by 4 as that shot made its way through to McBurney from the point. Fisted away. The blast coming from Fitzgerald. And then the Beacons netminder made the save all the way down. This should be icing. No, they're going to wave it off. Deflected, they say, off the stick of Boutron. Far side, McGregor cuts it off. Nice play to get around Fitzgerald. Behind the net. Fisted into the far side corner. Boutron will be the first to catch up to it. He'll now send it up towards the red line where it's knocked down. Bono, moments after scoring his first goal this season, sends it to Regnard, who moves it forward for Holiday. Couldn't control it. Coming back the other way with it, Manula. He gets absolutely hammered by Regnard right after the shot. Another try and a save made by McBurney. Third time's not the charm as that one blocked down in front from the shot of the freshman Barber.
Johnny Reggs throwing his weight around, absolutely destroyed him on that check, and then was able to block that shot. I think he might be a little bit ticked off still from that getting that penalty. As Santa Pass with a chance now.
But Scarrison unable to outrush the men to the red line, and then Regnard keeping his head up smartly to avoid the check there. I was looking for sweet redemption was Caleb Pfizer. This one dumped to Regnard at the red line. He'll dump it cross ice into the corner. And Skinner able to catch up to it there, but unable to settle it down. And here come the Spartans the other way. With possession, Gravina. Gravina tried to drop it back looking for Pfizer, but he was unable to find him. Good aggressive play by Regnard, who will hit the bench. Skinner drops it off Nachbauer. Back to Jeff. Behind the net, Nachbauer. Far side corner. What a skater Daniel Nachbauer is. He peels back, loses his stick right in front of the ref. Didn't like it. It's been a tough weekend with regards to Nackbauer and refs. Got a 10-minute misconduct in the third period yesterday for arguing when he was tossed from the face-off circle. Albano, meanwhile, comes in. Good block. Getting down on his knee to do that. Pfizer and the captain, again, will gingerly come off the ice. Coming back the other way now. Feeding it right in front. An opportunity for a shot. A great save with the right leg as McBurney roms Dob Kuziak from point-blank range.
His best of the day. His best of the day. I don't know if he meant to drag the pad like that, John, but it created a save. He was a little bit late, just slightly late getting there, but he dragged the far pad on the ice like that. It was able to get enough of the puck to kick it out. His best of the day is that one into the glove from distance. But a great stop there from the goaltender, McBurney, to keep this a 5-1 hockey game.
And a few extracurriculars after the whistle, as has been the case all day, as Saki Tikkanen and Connor Ryder both involved against Garrison Sanipass, and Connor Ryder probably one of the few players who can look eye to eye with Garrison, standing at 6'6", 215. He actually looks down at the 6'5", Garrison Sanipass.
Which is very rare. Yeah. We don't see many guys bigger than big old Gary there, and sure enough, as you said, we finally found a guy that actually is a little bit taller.
Another bouncing puck in on Pickrell. This time he's going to handle it with extreme caution as he covers it up with 8:14 to go.
Yeah, again, I don't want to harp on it. It was bad enough, but it's just a tough night already on the goaltender, giving up 4, and then to let one in like that, boy, that's tough. Really. The long route bus ride back, too. Oh, man. I miss a lot about playing, but moments like that, I'm glad I'm up here with you, John.
Absolutely. Castleton, an 0-2 weekend, barring the incredibly unforeseen, as this one stopped at the point by Harrington. Harrington all the way around, showing his wheels. He's done this a couple of times today. This time, though, he whiffs on it. Good job getting back to his positioning, and that'll limit any sort of rush, as will Albano. Nick smartly just dumps it in with his team up 4 with less than 8 to go. Nothing too risky, as laying the lumber there is Sifferlen, and then getting shoved a little bit back from behind was Tyler. A shot there from the near side wall. Right in front it comes. They score! Stevie Bryant, second of the day. His second career goal. And for the third-line center and the freshman from Edmonds, Washington, it is all good here on a Saturday in November. It's 6-1 UMass Boston.
Well, the play starts in the corner with Sifferlen. He took a hit to make a play, and I give him credit. He took an extra shot as well and didn't retaliate. Puck comes around the wall up top. We're going to get a goaltending change here, John, but puck comes around the wall up towards the top. Albano fires that. Sifferlen again in front of the net, got a tip, which stopped Pickrell from being able to control his rebound. The puck went right to Bryant. All alone, was able to in-out, tuck it far side off that blocker and chase Pickrell here late in the third period, giving up 6 here. His day is over. Beacons take a 6-1 lead.
It's Kyle Aliverdi, the new goaltender, a freshman making his collegiate debut, and a native of Grand Falls, Windsor, Newfoundland in Canada. 7:22 to go, 6-1 UMass Boston. And now Redler wants to get on the action. The Beacons' leading goal scorer lets it go through him. And this is icing on UMass Boston.
Yeah, good on Castleton. And I know Pickrell, the senior, probably a little bit upset that to get yanked at this point in the hockey game. But good to see Aliverdi get his collegiate debut here despite the 6-1 game. I know these players work very hard to get to this point in their career, and it's good to see him get some action here late in the game.
And, Matt, it's so funny because Pickrell yesterday recorded a season-high 37 saves on 39 shots and a 2-1 loss to Babson. And he's played well this year with a save percentage over .915. Then he comes out today, had a lot of great saves as that one's high and wide of the net with McBurney hopping up on his skates. And then you see just a couple of tough goals. I can't fault him for the Bryant goal. The Bono goal I could fault him for. But other than that, he's played relatively well despite the scoreboard.
Yeah, I think, we'll talk the next whistle here. It looks like this is puck going to come out. No, Castle will dump it in. It looks like the Beacons are becoming a team where the offensive power, and this has been kind of a recent theme for them, is so high that you really do need a goaltender to stand on his head in order to have a chance. And when you don't get it, it seems like you said, Pickrell still with a good game, but when you give up 6, I don't think anyone's going to give you, one of the 3 stars. And so you see him get chased here today, but really not as bad as the score might seem despite the ones you highlighted previously, John.
Ross is going to go to the sin bin, though, I think. that Irwin just went down by his own momentum, but the Beacons are going to be guilty, and maybe so too will the Spartans, as getting launched into the boards there was Peters on a late hit after the whistle.
Well, more so than it was late. The players know when there's a delayed penalty, and that was very clear there. You're taking advantage of a situation where players just try to touch the puck to get a whistle, and it's Tiitanen, who we've highlighted, who's played a great game here today, taking an extra charge there at Peters.
The good news is that Tiitanen's only...
Or was it Pfizer there? I can't tell if this is 2'8 or 2'9. You were right, it is Tiitanen.
The good news is Tiitanen's only 5'9", 154, so it probably didn't hit or hurt the 6'2" Peters all that much. Peters listed officially at 170 pounds.
Well, here's the thing, and again, I'm all for playing for the whistle. But on a delayed penalty, you know once the other team touches it, that's the end of the play.
You see this in front of the bench? They're throwing Roviak's stick away from him, and then he goes in.
So you want to know how you've dominated a team is they start playing keep away with your stick. If that's the best move they have, you've completely dummied them in the game, and that's what we have here.
And mark your calendars for the weekend of January 18th when the Beacons on Friday will be at Castleton, and then on Saturday will be at Norwich. They'll do this again in reverse order on the road. It's going to be interesting to see whether or not the physicality remains as Babson leads 4-3 with 10 minutes left, scoring 3 straight, including 2 in the third, to take the advantage over Norwich from across the town at Babson College. 6 minutes to go in this. The Beacons are shorthanded. They didn't give anything for that. Amazing.
Well, and what has to happen now, the referees have to keep a lid on this hockey game. I mean, it's pretty clear Castleton's going to start taking some liberties after the whistle with some of this stuff, and so I think that the referees have to make it be known for both teams that it's not going to be tolerated. The last thing you need to see on either end is a player taking a shot that results in an injury, and so with just under 6 to play here, with a game virtually at hand, a 6-1 hockey game here, I really would expect the referees to have a pretty solid effort in keeping this game, the lid on this hockey game.
92 seconds to go on the power play, 5:42 in regulation time, 6-1 UMass Boston. John Scooterson, Matt Meisenbacher here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. UMass Boston with a win today. We move to 5-0 and 4-0 in the NEHC. From the point, far side feed. Power play here for the Spartans. Near side, Barber. Barber back to the top for Taylor. One-time blast Taylor, gobbled up by McBurney. Little swat after, and we're going to get some extracurriculars again, as it was Bilski taking a late hack at McBurney, and the Blue Liners didn't like that. Led in front by, I believe that's Ragnar? Excuse me, Harrington, the freshman.
And nothing wrong there. I think that's totally fair. A shot from the point. Players, Castleton still looking for a rebound. They took, just 1, maybe 2 extra shots there. Players, Beacons clear it out. Nothing wrong. That's just a simple hockey play.
So face-off to McBurney's right, won by the Beacons. That was Bryant, who has a pretty good chance of being our first star with 2 goals. Been exceptional from the face-off circle as well. Behind the net, the Spartans set up. And with 50 seconds to go on the power play and exactly 5 minutes left in the game, they'll try to crack into this 5-goal deficit. In the corner, Gallagher winds up, couldn't get it out. Nice keep. Late hit after that. Barber tried to take the shot from the near side circle, missed the mark. On a deflection off the stick of Bryant. From the point, deflected in front off the stick of Bilski from the shot of Gravina. But that one whistled wide, and now we're going to get a penalty, and I believe that is on Bilski, who took a hack there at Gallagher.
Oh, he got him. And, John, I got to admit, I wasn't following the play. It started in the corner, and I was watching Gallagher, and it was pretty obvious what was going on. Bilski came flying at him. Gallagher dodged. He was trying to kill him. Gallagher dodged it, had a couple words for him as Bilski was laying there on the ice trying to regather himself. The play continues. Gallagher and Bilski go towards the front of the net. Gallagher ate 2 slashes in front, waited for the third, and then on the third completely sold the cross-check from Bilski. And just a veteran move there by the senior to end the Castleton power play. I love it. And I forgot to mention, end the block shot. Great shift by Gallagher. Love 6. Great player.
It's been a great weekend for Gallagher. He was our guest on the post-game show yesterday as our player of the game, and for good reason. And now the Beaks coming the other way as the Spartans push the Beacons back into their own defensive zone. Manula got it back to the point for Reynolds, but the Beaks take it over. Bross connecting here with Roviak. Roviak's got Bryant in front looking for Hattie. Instead he goes far side for Carter out of his grasp. Back to the point, 3:56 to go. Beacons are on the power play for the next 80 seconds. That one blocked down. It was in the equipment of Manula. Couldn't find it. Nice play by Harrington, keeping it in with the glove. Then he sidesteps Manula all the way down to the end line. Feeds it right in front for Bross, and a great save made. The first save, the real good save here for Kyle Aliverdi's collegiate career.
Well, I'll tell you what, from an offensive perspective, for these defensemen, it's really been the Albano show since he's got here. But Pat Harrington's making a case. I mean, he really is showing some coolness with the puck. You saw there at the blue line, simply keeps it in and then makes a nice couple strides, makes a nice little tuck play to continue, miss the check, continue that play deep into the zone, and then finds Bross for a great scoring opportunity. Really like what I've seen there from number 2, the freshman Harrington.
Well, Harrington is now the only defenseman on the roster that has seen minutes that doesn't have a goal. I think that'll change eventually as that one is deflected off the rear end of Caleb Pfizer and up into the catwalks here at Edward T. Barry Ice Rink.
Would love to see them try and get Stevie Bryant. Seth doesn't have a headset on, but I wonder the last Beacon forward to score their first collegiate goal and get a hat trick in the same night. That's one that we'd have to fire away to Seth, and perhaps he can get that for us.
So that'll be next time's trivia question in a couple of weeks, as that one is deflected up and into the netting for a face-off.
I'm texting him now. We'll see if we can get the answer for these folks. I'm sure people
If he knows that offhand, then he's Rain Man.
It's very, very possible.
The last Beacons player who got their first goal and a hat trick in the same game.
Stevie Bryant, obviously, with a chance to do that. He's given us the I don't know, but I bet you he's curious enough to go find it.
I bet you by next week he knows. As that one's back to the point. Still 30 seconds on the power play. Bono looking for his second goal of the day. That one deflected off of Gravina and up into the netting, and this game has slowed down precipitously in the last 5 minutes.
You know what? I give Castleton credit there. A couple blocked shots. I mean, you've got a job to do. Regardless of the score, you're put out on the ice. The coaching staff expects you to perform, and you've seen here, despite the 6-1 game, it's really just it's over at this point. And now you see some Castleton Spartans still continuing to block shots. It's good to see, and something I think the coaching staff finds admirable for these players.
Skinner off the face-off win, gets it down low. Knackbauer now back up to the top of the circle, back down low to Skinner. Beacons going to keep their foot on the gas, deflected in front as he was looking to connect with Sifferlen, who was looking for his second, and that one sent all the way down, and that'll kill off the remainder of the 2-minute minor on the power play to number 14, Jason Bilski, as he is out and onto the bench, replaced out there by another forward. Up over as Harrington sends it against the end boards, 2:25 to go. Behind the net, Troy Taylor drops it back, intercepted Knockbauer. Knockbauer fields in front, and it winds it high and wide. Too much on that one. Behind the net, it comes for Sifferlen, near side corner. Tyler crunched into the boards, keeps his composure, gets it over. A chance for Knockbauer to feed it from Skinner. A chance for a shot from the far side circle for Harrington, but Pat missed high and wide to the near side post. And eventually it is siphoned all the way to the red line where Harrington will clean it up.
There's no fast-forward option in games like this, unfortunately, John. I'm sure the viewers at home more interested perhaps with our post-game at this point versus the remaining 1:45 left on this in this hockey game.
Spartans trying for more as Harrington's taken down from behind, and then a big hit as Sifferlen levels his shoulder right into Tietinen, who's been very physical here in the third. The only goal scorer for the Spartans. That one whistles through the net mouth with 90 seconds to go. From the far side, kick save and a butte there by McBurney. A chance in front taken away by Harrington. What a day for Pat Harrington. And he thought about the long stretch feed for McGregor. Smartly just took it himself up by 5 and killed off some clock.
Yeah, he had him slightly there. It would have been a perfect pass to get that through. And as you said, at this stage of the game, an unnecessary risk.
From the far side, Caruso settles it down for Harrington. Still out there, feeds Bono. Bono stretches it for Holiday. We'll see if Justin can make you prophetic by scoring his first goal this season. It comes right into the crease and covered by Aliverdi.
Those are the types of plays he's been generating really all year. You see the speed down the wall. uses his big frame to protect the puck, drive it hard to the net. He's not a guy that's going to be putting it bar down, I don't think, like Bross we saw the first goal of the game, but he is the type of player where, with his big body, he can generate some scoring opportunities that maybe a smaller guy can't. And you saw it there coming down the wall with speed, testing this freshman in Alaverde.
Less than 50 seconds to go. Near side corner. That'll eat some clock. It's to a side fighting for it. You want to talk about a fast forward button. At the end of the women's basketball game today, the Beacons were up 11 points. There was 6 seconds left. They had the ball, and they decided to call timeout as that shot is deflected. And I had to come over here in like 30 minutes after that. So I was just absolutely confused. As the Beacons coming up and over, here's McGregor. 24 seconds left, finds Holiday. Oh, and he couldn't settle it down in time to tuck it past Alaverde, who covers up for the save.
Well, he's trying. He's definitely trying. A couple opportunities there from Holiday. I'm laughing. Captain Pfizer chasing Caruso down.
The thing about Holiday to me is he doesn't get a lot of minutes, but I feel like every game I'm talking about him 4 or 5 times.
Yep.
If he got first-line minutes, I guarantee he'd have at least 1 goal this season.
Yeah, I would agree. And he's got that high motor that I think a lot of coaches would love to see, a guy that every shift out there is pushing, pedal to the metal. Coaches talk about no shifts off as the final seconds wind down here, but Holiday's a guy who most certainly does not take any shifts off, and that is official, folks. 6-1 win here for the Beacons, a 4-point weekend, and you've got to be happy if you're this coaching staff with the performance of this Beacons team both yesterday and today.
Absolutely. The final score, UMass Boston 6. The Castleton University Spartans 1. UMass moves to 5-0 overall, 4-0 in the NEHC, while Castleton will fall to 0-3-2 and 0-3-1 in the conference. And from start to finish, the Beacons got the early advantage, 3-0 in the first period. Castleton cut into it, but then the Beacons got 3 more unanswered from the second period on. And they had themselves a banner weekend. A banner start, a 9-0 win on the road against Wentworth, and then sweeping 4 straight at home. Now they head back to the road, and it's not going to get easier for the Beacons. Yes, they played a tough team yesterday in Norwich, and Castleton gave it their all today. But the road is a much different case. As you said, those bus trips, they can take something out of you.
Yeah, without question, and clearly a proficiency for scoring. Now, not to say it's easy, but it definitely, you should be able to score and have an advantage at home. And so now they will be tested on the road. We'll see what this team, they I believe, start out with Johnson and Wales next, so it's not too far of a bus trip. But, a team that now has really established themselves here at home. They've got clearly a presence about them, a swagger about them, and then now are going to have to see if they can translate that to some road success.
They will be at Johnson and Wales on Friday, and then next Saturday at Suffolk, so nothing too crazy. Suffolk, of course, in Boston. They then take on Southern New Hampshire the following week, and then they have the PAL Stovepipe Classic up in Hooksett, which I remember talking to you a couple of weeks ago about the PAL Stovepipe Classic, not one of your favorites.
What can I say about the stovepipe? It usually takes place the day after Thanksgiving, so it limits the amount of fun you can have on Thanksgiving. And usually the entries, the teams entering the tournament, are not of, let's say, the caliber of a Norwich or a Hobart or a Babson. And so, Coach Blyle, love it. It's become a tradition. I think the players, perhaps if it was on a different weekend, would maybe appreciate it as much as the coaching staff does. But nevertheless, it's games on the schedule. Got to find a way to win.
The next time the Beacons will be at home will be 20 days from now. That is a long time without it, but it's going to be a big doubleheader. As on Friday, the 30th, they'll take on Hobart. And then on Saturday, the 1st of December, they take on Skidmore. There's going to be big battles against 2 very game NEHC opponents. So the Beacons winning this one by the final score of 6-1. We're going to go to a quick break, radio silence, catch our breaths. When we come back in just a few minutes' time, we'll have the final stats, post-game interview with Peter Belisle and our player of the game, and we'll look ahead to the future here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network. We'll be right back here on the BBN. Welcome back to the Beacons Broadcasting Network. Along with Matt Meisenbacher, I'm John Scooters. Beacons winning at 6-1, beating Castleton to move to 5-0 on the 2018-19 campaign. 6-1 the final score. As we take a look at the final stats, Beacons out shooting the Spartans 30-21. In face-offs, Beacons also doing a solid job, though Castleton narrowed that margin in the second half, winning 33-64 for UMass Boston. The thing that sticks out to me the most there, not only being its penalty kill, 0 for 7, Castleton, power play, 0 for 6. Nobody got it done with the power play today. What do you have on your mind here about the special teams for the Beacons? Because the penalty kill has been outstanding, and the power play has been quite the opposite.
Yeah, and so for a team that's this offensively capable, you'd think it'd be the reverse. But I'd actually prefer it that way if I'm a coach, that my penalty kill is predominantly better than my power play, being the fact that I still put up 6 in the game and my power play isn't where it needs to be. Power plays come and go. You'll see most teams, very rare. You'll even see it in the NHL. There's always the elite power plays, the Penguins, the Capitals, the Blackhawks. There's always going to be elite power plays out there, but the majority of teams go through ebbs and flows. They try different things. Players get hurt. They try to move guys in and out and see what works best. And so I don't think it's too cause for concern. I think the fact that they're, 96, 97% on the penalty kill is way more of a stamp of approval from a coaching perspective. So I think they're okay. They'll figure it out as they go.
31 for 32 now are the Beacons killing off penalties. That is approaching 97% on the PK. We look at our 3 stars of the game. Our third star, Evan Roviak. What a day for him. He got into the starting lines as a third liner. Part of that blitzkrieg came from the third line. In fact, all of our stars are those third liners, beginning with Roviak, who had 2 assists. Tyler Sifferlen had a goal and 2 assists. And Stevie Bryant, our first star of the game today, 2 goals and 1 assist. Came very close a couple of times to getting that Hattie in a game in which he got his first career goal. But that third line from start to finish today, they set the tone from that first goal on forward to the 60th minute, and they were outstanding in this 6-1 win.
Yeah, the only thing the only person I think that probably he doesn't appreciate it is Jack Riley. And I make light of that. He'll find a way back into the lineup. He's too talented not to. But, boy, you have to be happy as a coach. I mean, that's the line that really hasn't been there much this year. The top 2 lines, like we talked about, the top 2 lines have been stellar. The fourth line continues to be a backstop, and so that third line, you're either looking for really some scoring depth. And today they delivered on it. Stevie Bryant with a 3-point night, his first 2 collegiate goals, as you mentioned. I think Rakowiak did a really nice job stepping into this lineup here. Not an easy task. You've got a line that's been working together all year, and then you have to step in and try to produce. He had 2 assists tonight, and then Sifferlen with a goal, made some great plays out there. You know what you're getting from the North Andover junior. And so really happy with what I saw from that third line tonight. I'd be curious to hear what Coach Blyle's thoughts are on the matter when he inevitably does come out. Obviously some celebration going on after a 4-point weekend in there.
Yeah, absolutely. Still don't see Mr. Belial coming on up.
Might be time. Do we have a viewer
We're
count?
Speechless at this point.
Do we have a viewer count?
The thing is, normally he comes up pretty quickly. Sometimes he doesn't come up at all. So I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place and knowing whether or not we should just sign off and say, okay, that's great, have a great week. Or if we're actually waiting, I've got my crack staff up here telling me to talk about women's soccer because that's who they all play for, which I guess I could do.
I think Dave just gave the
great
signal.
Great season. You guys got to the final of the NEHC, not the NEHC, the LEC tournament. And, great job by all. Excellent work. Even without Alyssa Fugiel, what a goalie she was. R.I.P. Let's go to the NEHC scoreboard. Wrap things up with a bow. We're not going to have interviews today as Peter Belial, too busy being coated in champagne, I suppose, by Bailey McBurney in the locker room. Babson holds on to sweep Norwich. Norwich loses both games this weekend in their trip to Boston. That's got to be disappointing for that coaching staff in their first year at the helm.
Yeah, to say the least, especially coming off a win against Hobart. No doubt, that's a tough weekend. But we know, playing against UMass Boston and Babson, it's a tall task. Norwich drops 2 there. I would expect to see the Beacons move into these rankings pretty significantly now, being 4-0 and beating Norwich this weekend in conference.
Elsewhere, New England College beats Johnson and Wales 4-1. Suffolk down 2-0 to Southern Maine at the end of 1. And later on tonight, Hobart takes on SUNY Oswego. That's a battle of number 5 versus number 6 at the D3 level, and Buffalo State at Skidmore College at 7 p.m. As always, I want to thank our crew for coming on out today. And they kept it entertaining, to say the least. Our producer, Seth Orensky, our directors, Alyssa Fugiel and Allie Crawford, are on camera, Jill Francis, and our crack color commentator, Matt Meisenbacher. Thanks for coming out, Matt, for the weekend. It was nice to see you again, and we'll do it again in a few weeks.
Great working with you, John.
We'll be back at home at the end of the month. Until then, thank you for tuning in. If you're still out there listening to the Beacons Broadcasting Network, we love you. We love the compliments that we get when we come here, too, and people come on up.
Yes, indeed.
So come say hi if you ever make your way out to the Beaconville. We'd love to say hi to you as well. They're telling me to sign off. They want to go out and have some fun. I hope you do as well. Good night, good luck, and good hockey. We'll see you next time right here on the Beacons Broadcasting Network.